All right. We had a little bit of a hiccup in the video. Hopefully, I don't know what's going on. Anyways, welcome to MLS Law Show. My name is David Helm. I am a licensed practicing attorney in the state of Michigan. And with me, whenever I do stuff and makes it so much better, is the Broken Baker. Welcome.
Oh, you're so
Yes.
cute. You're so nice. You're so sweet.
I'm live. I'm live, everybody. I'm live. Welcome, everyone in the chat. I see Excited is in the chat. Excited, I am going to send you an invite from my stream later on this evening. Regarding evidence. Let's see if you want to join. Oh, it's 6 p.m. Eastern. I don't know what time that is in your made up country, but if you want to join me, let me know. I see Farrell is in the chat. Yes, this is Liv. This is Liv. I might be hitting random buttons during the stream as I have a new Bluetooth mouse that I'm trying to use, and it's really not the same feel. I don't know. You ever get a new mouse and it just feels different, and you got to like figure out how to use
Yeah,
it?
a new mouse pad. I went from this little small one into a table size, and now you're just all over the place. It's so
Yeah.
nice.
I have that too. It's really nice. I have it in front of me so that when I'm clicking the mouse and I'm moving stuff around, you don't hear the like on
Yeah,
the table, right? It's
like a lefty typing stream.
yeah. It's funny. We were talking too a little bit about all the little things that we try to do. Like I have now a third monitor, which I really love, but to get it to work, I have to do all these things, and that's why I have a Bluetooth mouse now. And it's just all these little things that you don't think of until all of a sudden you start streaming. And you're like, oh, it'd be really nice to have this. It'd be really nice to have that. You know,
I
you
think I
start
have
going,
spent like 5 hours today thinking about how I could set up a baking station in the kitchen. And I think I have made 10 different plans how it could be just to make maybe a video a month. It's
Yeah. Well, so I have my other channel that I'm trying to put together, which is Great Lakes Woodwrights and Shipwrights, and I did a little preview of that. Well, I'm working on a project for my boat now. It's a panel, and it's made out of spruce, and it's all glued together. And then I'm doing some resin and all this stuff. And I'm thinking this would be a good thing. Well, you've seen it. I've been working on it on some of your streams, right? Well, in the meantime, I have a camera trained on it, and I'm filming stuff. When I had the Lego stream that I did,
yeah.
I had that extra camera in my studio and not in my shop. And so I'm thinking, well, I can't work on my project. I can't do anything because I got to get the camera out there to film it. Um, but you're always everything's like content, right? So now you want to do a baking thing. You got to think about how you want to set this up and how you want to do it. It's just an interesting way to think about your life just in general. But it's fun. I see Danielle is a member 3 months. That is awesome. I can't believe it's been 3 months already, but very cool. Thank you for being a member for 3 months and welcome. And Rabbit has been a member for 1 month. I'm glad that I can see these member chats now. So this is very cool. Uh, well, thank you for being here for the wonderful month that it's been. We have Carolyn. Is that how you say it? I'm going to learn everybody's name.
Arlene, Carlene.
Carlene, or is it just pronounced Caroline? Caroline?
We're two of the
Anyways,
worst people pronouncing names on the internet. Irish is arguing about it every day. I can't say the first names, you can't say the last names. I don't think we have to figure this one out.
it's drunk lawyer day. It is not. I have no alcohol, Brandon. I'm sorry. I'm not prepared like you want me to be. Do you have prosecco? I don't. I have no alcohol in the house. I really don't. I'm thinking. I might have one beer actually. Um, but speaking of which, the reason why I don't have alcohol, if you're on my Discord, you probably already saw my post. I think I'm going to delay my trip to Sweden in October by 4 days and do the Detroit Free Press Marathon again. So I have new equipment. I've ordered my new running shoes, and I'm done with the drinking for a bit because this is not a running body at the moment. But it's October 15th, so I've got some time to train. That's not a big deal. So I think we're going to be cutting back on the drinking of anything other than like coffee and water for a minute and start running. Look at that. Another 3-month membership jumping in on the bandwagon. Thank you very much, Kim, for being a member for 3 months and for chatting about it. That's awesome. Oh, we got the expert in the chat. And Iris. Is it Iris or am I saying it wrong? Or is it the other?
It's wrong. It's
It's not
Iris or something like that.
Iris. Well, then spell it correctly.
Exactly.
So my my brother's daughter, my niece, she has I'm not going to say her name, but the way it's spelled, it should be a long E sound, but they don't pronounce it that way. But whenever I pronounce her name, I specifically say the long E. Those are cats. Stupid cats. Because that's how it's spelled. So I will pronounce it how it's spelled. This is Iris because there's an Iris, Iris. That's how it's pronounced. Sup, Lefty. And I'm just killing time a little bit, guys, before we get going.
Congratulations with the 100 subscribers to Lefty.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. That was last night. You guys were partying and I was sleeping. But yes, Lefty got 100 subscribers. That is awesome. Apparently, there's 100 people that want to watch him play his video games, which is...
Click his keyboard.
And click his keyboard, yeah. I think people... I watch his streams, but I'm in chat and I'm chatting with everyone and Lefty, essentially. I'm not even watching the game. So we go there. It's a kind of a casual place to hang out, talk amongst your friends, tease Lefty a little bit, and it's a good time. I don't watch it for the video games, but that's very cool. Also, he has a new avatar, which I've yet to see appear in YouTube. He needs to get it up there. Sea Swept did an excellent job editing it, and it definitely needs to be all over YouTube and Twitter and everywhere else that he is. Yeah, nobody watches you play your games, do they? Yeah, no, literally nobody watches. It's an excuse to stream and otherwise chit chat. So, anyways, I think this is for you.
Yeah, it's trying to pronounce Iris.
It's not Iris.
No.
Iris. Okay, so put in the chat. Am I supposed to pronounce it Iris, or am I pronouncing it wrong? I'm just curious.
Why can't?
But anyways, what's that?
Change name to Julie or something. Julie is a name we can pronounce.
Yeah, it's easy enough. We got BG. Josie's in the chat. Josie, I get. For the longest time, I didn't know how to pronounce it, and then I said, "Oh, it's Josie in there," so I don't do that. It's me, Josie. I just call her Josie. So we have. Why does it say MLS Goes to Court Part 2? It should be Part 3. It says it says it wrong on StreamYard, but it's right on YouTube. So okay. But anyways, yes. So this is MLS Goes to Court Part 3. I updated the description to give people a better idea. So if anyone arrives late, hopefully they can read the description, understand what's going on in this case. But essentially, I represent Epic Title, which is a company that was formed in January of 2020 by Darren Petterfee, the defendant in this case. My clients were employed by Epic Title, Darren Petterfee, one of his affiliate companies, whatever. And then they decided that they didn't want to work for him and were either going to start their own company or buy Epic Title. They ended up buying Epic Title as a stock sale, which means the company stays the same, just the owners of the company change, right? So everything that's owned by the company, all the debts that's owned, all the assets that's owned, all the obligations, contracts, everything that the company has remains the same. Just who controls the company is what changes. So that was entered into. My client wanted to change its website, and they realized they didn't have the login credentials for the domain name to do that. So they reached out to the prior owner and said, "Hey, we need the credentials." And he said, "No, in fact, I own it. You don't own it." Even though all actions are to the contrary, he claims that he personally owns the domain name. And so that's essentially what this lawsuit is over. And sometimes people are like, "Well, it's a domain name. Who cares?" This company has operated since January of 2020 with the same website, the same email, and the email is the big thing, right? John Smith at Epic Title, mi.com. That's the big thing, because everyone knows them by the email they do. Everyone does business through emails and through websites these days. So it's the name recognition, it's the domain name, it's all of that comes with it. That's really sort of kind of the value in the company, its reputation going forward. So if you change all that, what was the purpose of buying the company in the first place? I mean, yes, they have a storefront and they have a couple of computers and employees, but that's not really the essence. The essence is my two co-owners and the emails, the website, the name. So that's really what this case is about. And the first part, we had essentially preliminary matters, opening statements, and direct on the plaintiff's first witness, the expert, and then not the expert, but a expert. And then we had part two, we had the cross-examination of the expert witness and the one who drafted the sales agreement. And then some of the direct examination of one of the co-owners. So we're going to pick up there. And what we're getting into is a Google Analytics argument. One of the issues in the case was that the website was shut down twice during the pendency of the case, really. And so my clients, the plaintiffs, are entitled to damages if we can establish damages. So what we're trying to do is show how much traffic the website lost by being shut down. And so we're going into Google Analytics, and it's kind of a complicated argument, but essentially it's a foundational argument, which you guys will learn more about this evening with my evidence stream. So, but we'll listen to it a little bit, and we'll go from there. We'll see if my arguments hold water, if I'm able to actually make this work. And honestly, it's been so long. Well, it hasn't been that long. It's been since May, but I have a lot of cases, so I don't remember exactly how the argument went, and we're all going to learn together. So you guys are having your own conversation.
It's one of our parliamentarians who was just elected, and he had a fondness of telling young women late at night how pretty they were, party members, and maybe suggesting if they needed a place to stay, they could stay together, maybe for a night, maybe for a short while. So he went on sick leave, and now he's just dropped out of the party. So Son is just telling me so I can do something about the Danish politics tomorrow, because they have a really tight minority, so majority. So if he's out, I have to figure out if they are really the majority anymore, because in Denmark you have to have more than 50% to have an automatic, so you can do whatever you want. Now they have to discuss everything with him if he was number, as we call him, number 90. That's the majority, is the 90th member. So and you know how it is in Congress and stuff like that. If they are dependent on one or two people, it changes the entire landscape of politics.
Well, that's interesting. I love to hear about foreign politics, because all we hear over here, and I know there's international news about the shenanigans that goes in our politics and our Senate and all that stuff. But when I hear the same things in other countries, it makes me feel a little better, and makes me question a little bit why other parts of the country are judging us so harshly, especially when you talk about our criminals. We have so many criminals and all this stuff. To hear about all the crazy murders in Denmark, it makes me feel a little bit warmer inside.
And if you want to listen about it, just go to Cool Frog. He had me on Sunday, where we talked about Danish politics, and politicians all over the world are the same. They believe they are entitled to power, and that's the worst thing you can have as a politician.
Power?
No, entitlement. Oh. Because they don't understand.
I was going to say power. Well, without the power, is there entitlement?
Yeah, but they believe they have the right to have the power. They're not given the power by the people. They believe they should have it, and that's the worst kind of politicians.
I want to do a political stream with you, because I have so many more questions. So we're going to have to do that. I know we talked about it. We're going to have to do that, though.
Yeah, someday.
Someday we'll get there.
How's
How's
the
the
healthcare
healthcare?
system in Denmark? Well, right now we have a lot of problem. Are missing around 3,000 nurses, and we have a lot of problem figuring out, do we pay them more, because all of our nurses, they get the education in Denmark, then go to Norway because the pay is better in Norway. But it couldn't be the pay that's the issue in our country, because then you might have to say, well, they shouldn't pay that much tax, but that's just ridiculous. And then they thought about maybe they should work full time instead of I think it's 70 or 80% is working part time. But nope, no one could work full time. How can they do it as a renovation worker or builder? You couldn't do that. It's impossible to work full time. Remember, full time in Denmark is 37.5 hours a week. You can't do that. So right now we are thinking about maybe we should go to foreign countries, get their nurses, and then everything will be great. So our healthcare system is really lagging behind, and even though I know all Americans are told this story that it's great, it's free, it's all of that, yeah, but there's also a limit of how much care you can get if maybe you have cancer. I think you can get a more aggressive treatment in the US than we do. My mom's cancer was discovered by an accident because the uh, I I don't know what's it's called in the US, but where they take pictures of the breast to see if there's breast cancer. They forgot to call her into the examinations for like 5 years, and when she went in, oh, she had breast cancer. So
Well, I could tell you mine was discovered by accident. I actually went in to the dermatologist for a spot on my foot that looked weird, and I had been running for a bit, and so I didn't know if it was something like, I don't know, it just looked weird. And they're like, that's no big deal. We don't care about that. But your nose, we want to take a look at your nose. And then 2 surgeries later, I'm cancer free. But I have
yeah,
like really aggressive melanoma, so now I got to go in every 6 months for an exam.
yes, but it's there's always problems. Everyone believes that when the grass is always greener on the other side. So
Yeah. No, yeah, that's the thing. Or like, my in-laws were going to get surgery and replacement of parts and things like that, like old people have done. And it was originally scheduled, but then the whole office decided to take vacation at the same time because they get 5 weeks vacation and like, oh, the office is shut down for 5 weeks. Not just like a doctor, the whole office is shut down for 5 weeks. So they had to reschedule it. It's like, okay, well, at least it wasn't an emergency. But I can say between 2 surgeries for myself and several hospital stays amongst other family members and exams and stuff, I've paid very little out of pocket. So I will say that for the U.S. Healthcare system, yes, it's not public, but we get the stuff done, and I pay very little out of pocket.
yeah, and my back, it took 5 years before I had the first MRI.
That's
I
yeah.
had
I mean,
I had X-rays because well, X-rays are not that expensive. You can do it in the hospital. You have to go to a specialist to have an MRI. So I had nerve damage when they found my protrusions on my discs.
yeah. So if you are a lovely, attractive nurse and you want to go to Denmark, they're taking you.
You can stay
Go
with
there.
Søren.
Not you.
No, I have feral and sea swept and young men living on my attic. It's
Hi,
gets
Jamie.
rowdy up there.
Hi.
Yeah,
Welcome. We
Jamie is a
didn't
nurse,
do an
maybe.
introduction for Jamie yet.
No, I was just listening.
So, all right. Well, we've been going for 20 minutes. We maybe should start the trial. By the way, there's 57 of us watching, which is awesome, but I only see 33 thumbs up. So maybe when we start the trial, you guys will get more excited about giving that thumbs
They're
up.
waiting
That
for
would be
the
great.
yellow tie. They're not going to like before they see the yellow tie.
Yeah. So we're jumping right in. A little bit earlier, I backed up a little bit with my witness's testimony. So we're backing up. We're probably going to cover about 5 minutes of what we ended with yesterday, just to give a little context before we go into the whole Google Docs thing. But we'll get going, and then where it's appropriate, or if anyone has questions, throw them out there. You don't have to super chat me, although it's greatly appreciated. But if you do have a question specifically about the trial or something you want to catch my attention, put the little red question mark in front of it so I can spot it. At one point, did he send you an email that said, I own the domain name?
In essence, yes, he did.
Okay. Did you respond to that email by saying, yes, I understand you own the domain name or something along those lines?
I did.
Why did you respond that way?
Because given the nature of, I wanted to be kind and to have it amicable in the beginning. And so I didn't want to ruffle any feathers, if you will.
Were you prepared to pay some money for it if need be?
Absolutely.
Why would you be prepared to pay some money for it?
It would be a lot easier to have paid for it up front than to go through all of this.
And so saying that you owned, or acknowledging, or in the email saying that Darren owned the website, that was part of trying to negotiate a deal?
I didn't offer any monies to purchase the website.
Monies?
But yes, that was definitely a part to, that was my negotiation tactic. Yes.
You were hoping that it would resolve the dispute?
Yes.
Okay. And that he would give you a lowball number and you could purchase it?
Yes.
Is that when he came out with the $1 million offer?
Right around that time, yes.
Okay. At any point during this entire transaction, from when you were first discussing it and made the offer to October of 2021, is there any doubt in your mind that Epic Title LLC, Epic Title Services LLC owned the domain name?
There was no doubt in my mind.
Was that ever discussed during negotiations?
No.
Did the website, its existence, the domain name, or anything like that ever come out of anyone's mouth at all during the negotiations?
Not to my knowledge, it did not.
You said the website was again shut down in June,
That's correct, of 2022.
June of 2022. Do you recall being here for a hearing on that?
I do.
We had a show cause hearing because it was in violation of the court order. That's what we're referring to. I don't know if we specifically mentioned that, but the court knows, so I don't know if I go into it with the witness. Do you remember how long it was shut down for?
7 or 8 days, could be 9 days.
I would object as to speculation of 6, 7, 8, 9.
Can you do personal knowledge without guessing, speculating, conjecturing? Can you pinpoint it a little bit
I
better?
would say about a week, a full week.
I believe I am on Exhibit F.
I believe so.
Handing you what's been marked as Exhibit F. Do you recognize this document?
I do.
What is this document?
This is our Google Analytics that we run for our business.
I think I said Google
statistics.
Docs. I messed What up.
are
It's
Google Analytics?
I'm gonna place an objection to this, this exhibit, Your Honor. I think it takes expert testimony or somebody from Google to testify as to what the document is. If she didn't make it, he can ask if she made it, if it's her property or anything else, but I think it takes somebody from Google to explain what it is, not a layperson.
I think he's older than me,
You got a
Valhalla.
copy of it?
He just gave it to me.
Okay.
He does look young.
Judge, I'm not going into the nitty gritties about. Yeah, I don't know much about this judge. He's been on the bench for I think 4 or 5 years. He's very nice, very considerate of evidence. Considerate of evidence, meaning he's very curious about the evidence and wants to make sure he gets the call right. As I said yesterday, he still hasn't issued an opinion on this. This is a bench trial, not a jury trial. So he's taken it under advisement, and it's been since May 31st. We still don't have an opinion, but I don't really know much about this judge, although I have another trial in front of him coming up. So we'll see how.
So
he
he seems
rules on this.
really lovely, and we really like him. And he's a handsome devil too. And we're not
And his
in-
staff is wonderful. His staff is the nicest.
Just
His
see,
clerks
watch
and
that
everything.
desk, how clean it is.
It
And
is though. Look at how organized. Look at
Yeah.
the books.
someone could learn something from that.
Page hits and stuff like that. This is a 10,000-foot overview here. My client's We'll
gonna
find out,
testify
Soren.
Separate from this with regard to qualifying numbers, but essentially.
I don't think he is very organized right now.
To admit it as demonstrative at this point. It's really to give an example and a framework for the website being shut down.
All right, so real quick, I'll just give some clarification. So I'm trying to introduce some Google Analytics that shows the hits to the website, during the time just before and just after, and for the rest of the year when it was shut down in June of 2021. This is printed off from Google Analytics, and my client printed it off. And the defense has objected because essentially lack of foundation. It's the witness is not somebody that compiled the actual data; it's just watching the data, right? So I'm trying to get it in maybe as demonstrative. We'll see how that goes.
In June of 2022, if you want to see.
Same,
Mr. Abbott?
same objection.
Indigo thinks the judge is cute. I'm gonna keep that up for a little while. He does know I have a YouTube channel too.
I hope he's watching.
Hey, Judge Pakel, if you're watching.
Okay, Mr. Helm, so you won't be asking your witness any questions about this, or?
Not specifically to like how many views did you get and how many, unique views versus repeating customers. What are the totals for this month versus this week and that day? I'm not going to be asking any of this. I'm using it as a general guide for the time point to which the website was shut down. So I will be asking some questions, but it's not getting into the details that you would expect to have an expert for. And I can volunteer further, question and establish foundation for the information that this document is actually comprised of.
Okay, I'll allow it under those conditions.
Thank you.
Well,
Hey, Joe. So Hey Joe says, I feel that this case, it was assumed that the domain name came with the sale of the business. If it was never part of the purchase agreement, then it's my feeling if he owns it, it's his to sell/keep. So that is his position. Yes, that is the defendant's position, because it wasn't specifically mentioned in the purchase agreement. But I will clarify my position on this is that the purchase agreement was for it wasn't an asset sale. It was a stock sale of the company. So the company, anything owned by the company or any obligations owed by the company remained with the company. Only the control of the company is what changed. Think of buying stock in a corporation. If you buy enough of it, you gain control with the corporation's obligations and debts. Well, think of Twitter, right? Elon Musk bought Twitter, right? Twitter itself stays the same. It's just the owner, the person who's in control of it. So that's what this was. So the question is really, was the domain name owned by the company or was it owned by this individual? If it was owned by the company, then it goes with the company. You don't need to list it specifically because just anything owned by the company stays with the company. So it's not a question of did it transfer? Did they intend to transfer? It's just who owned it at the time of the sale. And our argument is based off of the conduct of the parties. Specifically, my position is that once the company ownership transferred, the website stayed up and running. And it was continued to be paid for by the company. And nothing changed until the following October when my clients reached out to this individual asking him for the login credentials. At that point, and only that point, like 6-7 months later, did he decide, oh, in fact, I own it. When all actions to the contrary kind of say the other way. So those are the two positions. So your position is what the defense is arguing.
Your Honor, my other objection would be to how do we know this document's accurate? How do we know it is what it purports to be? Nobody's from Google here saying, hey, here's the Google Analytics, here's what we comprised from this website, here's what we analyzed. They're looking at a document that anybody could have made up and said, well, now we want you to take this for the truth of the matter asserted. Even if it is demonstrative, it's still the same, Your Honor. She can testify if she can as to what she knows, but this document shouldn't be admissible.
I haven't even properly questioned the witness yet to establish the foundation for the objection.
All right, so let me, I'm taking Mr. Abbott's comments under consideration here. Let's continue, but then I want to see where you lead us, and then we'll revisit it and see what, see where we are, and then if Mr. Abbott still has an objection, I'll roll upon it then.
Sure.
Before we get into the questioning, I want to address KT as well. So She says if he wasn't personally paying for it, it's interesting he claims it as his own. So when and my first witness testified to a lot of this. He's a law school professor. He writes for the Institution for Continual Legal Education. He's written articles on business transactions and formations and things like that. He's a business law professor and practices it. And what his testimony was is that when people start companies, and this is true, just in my own personal experience, anecdotally, you do a lot of things like when you file the articles of corporation, you tend to pay those out of your own pocket. You know, it's $50 to register it. Or if you're going to form a website, you pay for it out of your own pocket. You do a lot of things out of your own pocket, even not necessarily company funds when you're first starting it up, to benefit the company. And that's what happened here. So he registered the domain name in his own name. We're not sure where the money came from, but it was in his own name 2 days prior, I think, to registering the articles of incorporation, and did a bunch of other stuff as well in his own name at the time of formation. The question is then, did it continuously operate as a personal asset or as an asset of the company going forward? But right now, what we're trying to argue, when we first filed this case, there was an injunction that prevented the defendant from shutting down the website. But he did that in June of 2021 in violation of the injunction. And so the court has found him in contempt of court for violating the order. The only question is damages. What I'm trying to go after now is damages for shutting down the website. So hopefully that all makes sense.
Yeah, but he can't use the domain for anything because that's linked to the business. So if you thought about making a business selling free-range eggs, he couldn't use that website. It wouldn't make sense
Right.
because it's linked to the business. People
Right.
wouldn't go looking for that if they are looking for free-range eggs.
Exactly. Yeah, no, exactly. So what is he going to do with the business? And I think the judge actually asks him that when he's on the stand later on in this trial.
Spoilers.
What's that?
Spoilers.
Sorry.
No spoiler.
Yeah, he wasn't continuing. No, the company was paying for hosting. And the company continued to pay for hosting throughout. It was just it was registered with his name through GoDaddy. The domain name was, but it doesn't even say how it was paid for. It just says his name under it, not Epic Title Services LLC.
Did you create this document?
I did.
Okay. And what are Google Analytics?
Google Analytics it's basically the metrics of the company as seen through Google's eyes.
Okay, and so this tracks anything that Google would recognize from Epic Title Services LLC?
That's correct.
Okay. Does this
You could tell I know what I'm talking
specifically-
about here.
This document itself, is it focused on the website?
It is.
Okay. Where do you get access to this information?
We get it emailed to us
Okay. And you get it emailed from,
from Google Business.
okay. So did you register the website with Google Business?
We did.
Okay. And you receive these emails how often?
I believe weekly. I'm not the one that handles the statistics and everything with the analytics, so I believe weekly, maybe bi-weekly.
Yes, I agree, Shelley.
What was the purpose of you creating this document?
I just wanted to focus on the time that our website had went down.
Okay. On the first page there, does it indicate the dates in which the website went down?
It does.
Now, does this refresh your recollection without looking at it, or without reading it? Or first, look at it to yourself. I'm sorry, don't read it. But does this refresh your recollection as to when the website was shut down and for how many days?
It does.
Hey, Caitlin.
Approximately how many days was it shut down?
It looks like 7. It went back up on the 8th day.
Okay. Did you know that the website was shut down on day 1 or day 8, or when did you learn?
I did not. It was, the website was shut down for a few days. It was brought to our attention that Mr. Petterfee, at the same time that we did the acquisition of the company, we also ran a joint venture called Epic Title Ventures. And it was brought to our attention that our website was showing his website rather than our website for a time.
Okay, who brought that to your attention?
You know what, I'm not sure exactly. One of our clients, I'm not sure exactly who it was.
Did you verify it after that?
We did. We called Title Tap. We got on the phone right away. I believe we got in touch with Title Tap first.
Okay, but did you go to the website to see that in fact it's
We
transferred?
did.
Okay, so you typed in www.epictitlemi.com, and did it take you to your website?
It looked completely different. It was Epic Title Ventures.
Okay, and Epic Title Ventures is the joint venture you had with Darren and his other company?
That's correct.
Okay. Was it supposed to do that?
No.
Okay. If you turn to page 3 of Exhibit F, I just want to ask you a couple questions there. These are bar graphs. How did you obtain this bar graph information?
This is Google Analytics.
Are you,
Could we have a clarification? She said she created this document. Did she do the bar graph or did she print it out from Google?
Go ahead.
I created the bar graph.
You created the bar graph?
Yes.
okay, and where's the information you gathered to create the bar graph? Where did that information come from?
It came right from Google Analytics.
Okay. And so, what is this information contained in this top bar graph here?
The website hits 2021 versus 2022. It's how many hits we got on our website for that full year.
Are you looking at specific numbers, users, unique users? Are you caring about any of that? Or are you just looking at the total number of times people typed in www.epictitle.mi.com?
The total number of hits, yes.
And you were able to track this through Google Analytics?
That's correct.
And the bar graph, the lower bar graph, what does that indicate?
The orders in versus hits in 2021.
Okay. And, oh, that's 2021. Okay, so I'm just going to focus on the top one. And based on this bar graph that you created, 2021 is blue and 2022 is gray, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Did you recognize a significant decline in website hits after June of 2022?
We did.
I don't know why that paused. I don't know what's up there. But she just said that she noticed a significant decline in user hits after that June shutdown. I wish I could, you know what, maybe I can present the exhibit here real quick. It might help you guys understand, but essentially after, let me see if I can pull it up real quick, just so you guys have an idea of what it looks like. But after the website shut down, it was on track to do more hits than it did the previous year until after the shutdown. Then it stayed consistently lower than the previous year. So that's kind of what she's explaining. I'll try to pull it up in a second so you guys can see what it looks like.
Okay.
I want to move to admit Exhibit F as a document that's been compiled by the witness, specifically with regard to the bar graph that she created herself. So if there's any objection, I'll move to admit Exhibit F only to the extent that it's the bar graph on page 3.
All right, let me ask Ms. Leonardo, you're receiving the hardcore numbers from Google.
Yes.
What are you
Hardcore.
using to create the graph? Is there a software program? Or?
You know what, honestly, I'm not sure if I got that directly from that site, but I do have knowledge of Excel. I could have done it on Excel. I'm not sure how I got it. I might have taken that as a picture right from the site or created my own with the number.
Hey,
Okay.
waifu prom.
Trevor, do you have any further
Welcome.
questions for?
Well, I have another objection. Now she just said something totally different from my created document. She said I might have taken the picture right off the website. It's unreliable, Your Honor. If it's Google Analytics and that's what she's relying on to show she had a loss of business, someone from Google should be testifying to it. She can testify to what her own knowledge is, but this is beyond her own knowledge because she's taking it off the website and now she's not even sure what she created and what she took a picture of. So
Okay. So I'll just show you real quick. So this is what she was trying to explain. And so if you look at the 2021 hits are in blue, the 2022 are in gray, and you can see in June, which is when the website was shut down, June of 2022, you can see that the number of hits went down, and then it never really recovered. Where prior to that, the hits were higher than the prior year, and then after June, they stayed lower than the prior year. So that's what she's trying to explain, just so you guys have clarification of what we're trying to admit, and we'll see if we get it in.
Same objection.
Okay. All right, Mr. Helm, any,
Well, if the proper foundation is established to satisfy the court that the numbers indicated or the facts that are trying to be conveyed is credible, and that the information being conveyed is accurate, then that's the only requirement. We don't have to have somebody here from Google in order to testify to that. This witness is capable of testifying that she has Google Analytics that monitors the traffic to our website, that they get emails weekly, that she got these numbers from Google Analytics, either directly by asking Google Analytics to do a comparison or by taking the raw numbers and compiling it. Either way, they came from a source that she monitors and tracks regularly, weekly. And so the reliability of the numbers, again, we can squabble over, it should have been 225 instead of 216 or whatever, but the difference between the blue and the gray is what I'm concerned about. And I believe the foundation has been established that this particular bar graph can be admitted through this website.
okay. Last word, Mr. Evans?
I could create something like this and put in a bunch of numbers, and it doesn't mean that they're accurate. If they come from Google, that's where she gains these numbers, then we need to hear somebody from them if you're going to offer an exhibit.
Well, I take objection to that.
There's no heading, there's no header on there. If she gets an email, it's just a blank document.
I take objection to that because counsel is insinuating that my client falsified these numbers and is just spitting out something that looks favorable to her. So the document is what it purports to be. The witness's testimony is what it purports to be, unless he has some way to challenge that.
Damn right.
So, how are you receiving these raw data from Google? They were emailing them to
They
you?
do email them. Like I said, I'm not sure if it's weekly or bi-weekly, but we do get our numbers monthly. And that's
Call your own witness, man. You want to challenge it.
And where do you, so when you receive them in your email box,
That's correct.
okay, let's say you open the email messages, what do you do with them after you review them?
We use it for a base of knowledge of basically how much traffic comes to our website, if we're getting orders, just for revenue and for.
What about the
business.
messages themselves? Do you delete them twice? Do you totally get rid of them, or do you
No, I can get access to all of them, and even through Google, I can get a history of it as well.
My beautiful bag.
I don't, shy of bringing somebody from Google in here to attest to this. I want to, if I had something that showed the numbers with Google's logo, some type of identifier for Google. Do you have any of that with you?
I was going to hand my witness my laptop with internet, and maybe she can pull it up. I imagine she has a Google
That's how I
account,
say that word.
that she could log into, as long as she's comfortable logging into my computer.
Yeah, I don't mind.
Did she see the Jody Harris
Of course,
pictures
my-
on the computer?
Yeah, I know.
So they may or may not want to.
They were well hidden at this point. Wait, maybe not. I don't even know. Yes, that's how I say that word. Internet.
Internet.
How did I say that? I don't know why I said it
You
that
just
way.
like very much punctuated it.
Internet.
Log out of mine.
It's like how does Schroeder say defendant?
Sign out
Defendant. Yeah.
or sign in with another
Okay, I'm gonna try online first. I'm gonna try Google first.
Yeah, do your
Like I
thing.
said,
Click
this
on
is
whatever, go wherever.
not my realm.
Just don't look at my other.
Don't mind all these naked Jody pictures.
Then,
Get back on the red.
thank you.
We go off the
Okay,
record, I think.
You've been operating this company now since May of 20.
Okay, I think we went off the record. I think it jumped. We went off the record, and it was determined that she didn't have, like, she needed to reset her password or something, or she needed to get login availability by sending a verification email or something. So we spent like 10 minutes trying to get her to log in, and we couldn't. So we moved on for the moment, and we would get her login credentials at lunch, essentially, is what we agreed to. And I think we've already skipped ahead. So that's where we are. So we're leaving that issue for the moment. That's what I remember now.
21, correct?
Me and Heather, yes.
You and Heather. All right. What was your, if you can recall, your gross revenue for 2021?
I can recall 2022, 2021. I'm not 100% sure because we were, I know month-to-month numbers better than I do full numbers because we did not own the company fully in 2021.
Okay. What was the gross revenue in 2022?
2022 was about 1.7 million.
And that's not profit, that's just revenue?
That's gross.
Yeah, it's
revenue.
gross revenue.
Yes.
Have you noticed a significant or any sort of reduction in
My
the amount
files
of
are so
business you've been doing
disorganized.
since June of 2021?
You're running all over the place.
June
That's
of-
why
I
wanna do
am.
the
I am.
marathon.
I'm sorry. Excuse
I'm
me. June of
so
2022.
disorganized.
Have you noticed any sort
Yes.
of? Okay.
Yes.
What sort of change have you noticed?
Month to month from June 21 to today, we're down about 25 to 30% each month, give or take.
Yeah, the traffic was showing an upward trend in June of 2022 when he shut it down. Then it went down and it stayed down. Yeah, that's essentially what she was trying to show. So this again is the chart that we were trying to introduce that we're going to come back to. But it showed a trend of going up until the shutdown in June of 2022, and then it stayed down progressively from there going forward. So that's
Did
our
you-
damages we're showing.
Did your wife buy your bag?
To my what?
Did your wife buy your bag?
Buy your bag. Yeah. Oh, you noticed it was a Swedish bag?
Mass noticed.
Oh, yeah. Yes, it's Valraven. However you say
Fjällräven.
it. Yeah, Fjällräven, whatever. Yes,
Yes,
it's a Swedish
Swedes
backpack.
pronounce it wrong. Just do it the Danish way.
I got it in Stockholm. Yes. And I like the yellow. I have it now with me. I always carry it. It's my laptop bag. And I always love walking into court with this thing because everyone has like their leather satchels, and I have this canvas yellow backpack. It's awesome.
It was all the rage when I was in school in
When you
7th,
were in
8th, 9th grade. It was the school bag of choice, and then they went away, and then they came back again.
Yeah, my Iris, my table is an absolute mess. I explained it yesterday. So I had this brilliant thing. Like I was organized. All of my exhibits were in specific files and all of this. And I thought it was the best idea. And it turned out to be the most disastrous of file organization for actual trial. It just turned into a giant mess. And I don't know where anything is on my desk right now.
Have you noticed fewer emails? Well, let me rephrase that. I guess, well, have you noticed
Yeah,
any fewer
over-organized.
emails with new customers coming in?
I do not handle that side of it. Orders at epictitlemi.com is what is used for that, and I don't have any hands on that. So myself, no.
here we
So,
go.
let me ask you this. When you purchased the company, when you purchased the equity in the company, the ownership interest in the company, it had a retail office, correct? Or space?
Brick and mortar, yes.
Brick and mortar
Yes.
space, okay. Employees,
Yes,
phone
yes,
number,
yes,
emails,
yes,
website,
yes,
computers.
yes,
Did it have reputation?
yes.
Is that what you intended to purchase?
Yes.
If the website, strike that, if the domain name did not go with it, would you have purchased this company?
I don't believe we would have.
Have you worked with other title companies that have changed their domain names while you were working there?
I myself am not familiar with any title company changing their domain name.
Okay. Why wouldn't you have purchased the company? Or you said you don't believe you would have, right? I think.
That's correct. We don't believe we would have. It was because of reputation is why we wanted to keep the company. So actually, before we decided to go on with the sale, because Darren told us no at first, before we decided to go on with the sale, we actually purchased an LLC name. We had it registered with the state. We got our software. We did everything that we had to do to get a company up and running. So we would have went with that company instead. And then Darren came in and said, okay, I'll sell it to you under these conditions with the joint venture and whatnot. So we went to preserve our reputation.
This is a bench trial, no jury. So just the judges listening. And I will also add, too, that this is a business court case, which means that when you file a civil suit and the parties are both business entities or are involved in some sort of business dispute, Michigan has this thing called business court, where the idea is that the judge is familiar with business transactions more so. And there's also an emphasis on business minds can find a way to resolve disputes. And so there's a lot of heavy emphasis on facilitation and mediation. So this is a business court case, and it's not in front of a jury. It's just a bench trial.
So what was the purchase price?
$50,000.
Okay. Do you know how that $50,000 was to be distributed?
I myself, no. I do not.
Okay. And you said other conditions. What were the other conditions?
Joint venture was to be, so another company was going to be formed. It was called Epic Title Ventures, with a partial ownership of Darren and Christie, I believe, Pecan Ventures, I think it was, and Epic Title. And we would still do their deal so they could make money off of that title company.
Okay. And that would have been real estate transactions originated by Darren's company?
Darren's team, yes, Darren and Christie's team, yes.
Would have gone through Epic Title for the title work?
That's correct.
Okay. What was the split of, like, what was the agreement with regard to that joint venture? How would that work?
So the agreement was that the ownership split was 51% Epic Title Services, 49% Pecan Ventures, but the distribution split for the funds was 70% Pecan Ventures, 30% Epic Title.
Okay, so he was getting 70% of the net revenue from the joint venture. I'm sorry, Darren Pettifee's company was getting 70% of the net revenue from the joint venture.
There's two ways of making money in a title company, so that you could make money off the settlement services and then the title premium. So the agreement was that he was to get 70% of the title premium.
Okay. And is that joint venture still in operation today?
No.
Why not?
In our contract, there's a couple of reasons. In our contract, it specifically stated that he had to keep up, I believe it was 20 deals a month closed for, if he did under 20 deals a month for 3 consecutive months, and forgive me if I'm wrong on the 20 deals a month. I'm pretty sure it was. 20 deals a month for 3 consecutive months. If he did not hit that number for 3 consecutive months, then we could terminate the agreement. It didn't get.
Bye, excited. Get some sleep, and I'll see you this evening. I'll send you a link if you want to join me. Get some. What time? I don't even know what time it is there. I think it's like midnight or something. Isn't it 1 a.m. there right now?
I have to figure out how far behind you are, and then how far Nevada is. And excited doesn't really exist. So
Yeah, it's no, she lives in the North Pole under a dome, but she pretends that she's living in the Southern Hemisphere in the future. So we let her have that fantasy. 1:30 a.m. ish in Aussie land. Okay. Yeah, it's late.
Yeah.
To that
Or
because
early,
he pulled
rather.
out of that without any notification and started his own title company. So he just basically stopped using us and pulled quite a few deals from us at that time.
Okay, and was there also, prior to the closing, did Epic Title pay $50,000 to Darren Petterfy's other company?
Prior to the closing
Prior to the closing on the transaction?
of the sale?
Yeah. the sale.
Okay.
So prior to that, was there $50,000 paid to Darren's other company?
Yes, there was.
Okay. So that's in addition to the 50,000 that's contemplated in Exhibit B?
That is correct.
Okay. Do you know why that 50,000 was paid to Pecan?
We were told that we had to
I'm
pay the
gonna place
50,000.
I'm gonna place objection as to hearsay unless it was Mr. Petterfy himself who told them.
Let's find out. Are you, this information that you're about to disclose to us, did it come directly from Mr. Petterfy?
Yes.
I mean, if it came from him, that's the question.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, you sure about that?
Yes.
Okay. All set, Mr. Abbott? Okay, all
Well, as
right.
soon as we hear it.
Okay, okay. Go ahead.
So so additional $50,000, or I want to say additional, a first $50,000 was paid to Pecan Ventures. Mr. Petterfy told you why. What did he say?
He said to pay back startup cost for Epic Title
Okay.
Services.
So $50,000 was paid to
For
Pecan Ventures
startup
for startup
costs.
cost reimbursement?
Correct. That's what we were told it was for.
Now, that was paid by Epic Title Services, essentially paying back its member that contributed funds, right?
That's correct.
That's how you understood it to be?
That's correct.
Okay. And that was paid prior to the closing of this
That's correct.
All right. Were you ever given a
Witness is
breakdown as to what
letting me
startup
ask
costs
my
he was
question.
referring to?
No, we had asked, but we were never provided with it.
Okay.
No, and she didn't understand where you were going yesterday. Her lawyer should have prepped her better.
I know. She did not. But this is the thing. Okay, so this is one of those things where you can prep your client. You can run through their examination in its entirety, and you could talk to them about, all right, when I ask you this is kind of where I'm going. And I tell them all the time too, like, don't worry if you answer the wrong question, because I'll just ask it a different way and try to get the right information. But then when they're on the stand and you ask them 5 different ways, and they still give you the wrong answer, the answer you're not looking for, and you're just like, oh my God. Yeah, it happens though. It happens.
And the $50,000 that was paid at closing, that was in addition to this $50,000.
That's correct.
Do I check off?
Were there any other funds paid directly to Mr. Petterfy or his company Pecan in relation to this transaction?
I don't believe so.
Okay. And I just want to be clear because I think the objection interrupted you. You were told that you had to pay this $50,000 before Mr. Petterfy would even entertain the idea of you paying or you purchasing the equity?
The startup cost, you mean?
The startup cost
That
reimbursement.
came, I mean, gosh, we paid that right when we first started. That came that was one of the reasons why we
I
decided
have a
that
clicky pen. I
he's
hear it.
not
Damn it.
a good fit for Heather and I.
Don't
Oh,
ever
okay.
carry a clicky
All
pen.
right, so that happened back in August of 2021, September?
End of 2021, maybe January of 2022.
Okay. So that's when Epic, so before you,
Hey, Nicholas, you'll see this in a bit.
Phoenix.
okay, so right around when you were contemplating,
I'm sorry, I always get my dates mixed up. So 2020 we started, I would say at the end of 2020, beginning of 21 is when the funds, he started asking for the funds to be paid back for
Okay.
the startup.
okay, so now we put that in the time frame, and that was one of the things that you said that made you want to separate yourself?
Yes.
And what time does your stream start, Baker? Because I'm dumping everyone into your stream. 1:30, right?
Yeah, 1:30. So
Yeah.
it's two hours more.
Yeah, we're probably going to go for like another hour and a half of the trial. So Wendy, so that's about what we're looking at right now. We'll
Nick,
see. We'll see how it goes. We'll play it by ear.
What?
the Nick just gifted you 5 memberships.
Oh, awesome, Nick.
Why don't
That's,
they show up in StreamYard? That's
I don't know. StreamYard is what it is. Thank you, Nick, for the 5 gifted memberships. So Jonathan got a membership. Emma, Liz, Burton, Nisha, JC Rays all got memberships. Thanks to Nick. Thank you very much. Very generous of you. And if you guys are a new member, click the membership tab on my YouTube channel. You get a link to my Discord, which is where we have our member content. And real quick, because I got a lot more people here than when I started. At 6 p.m. Eastern tonight, I'm going to do a stream about evidence, what it is, how you can admit it, why some is not admitted or not. We're basically going to cover 300 years of evidence law in about an hour. And then around 8 o'clock or so, we're actually going to stream in my Discord as a watch party. Most, if not all, of the Johnny Depp Amber Heard documentary from Netflix. So it's 3 episodes. I've got all 3. That would be like 2.5 hours. So I don't know if we're going to watch it all, but we're definitely going to start streaming it tonight around 8 o'clock or so. So if you are a new member, check that out. Go to Discord and you can watch along with us. We can have a whole lot of fun because there's a lot of law tubers that are featured in that if you haven't watched it yet. It's interesting.
Really?
Yeah. No, I mean, it starts off with you got Ricada, you got Emily D. Baker, you've got the DUI guy, you've got a lot of law tubers that are featured heavily in it. So it'll be fun.
I saw Netflix is copyright striking everyone who's talking about their own videos they stole from them.
That's awesome.
So
I was wondering about that. I was wondering because I'm like, could I stream it on YouTube and what would they do? I'm not featured in it, but if I was Ricada or anybody else, I would definitely be challenging that.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, but
we're going to stream it in Discord, so they won't find us.
I saw one who had 2 strikes against, and it's Netflix showing his video commentating on the court feed, and and he's saying, how can you do this, and why do YouTube keep up these copyright strikes? Of course, because Netflix is a really big organization, has a lot of money. But again, it's they should just copyright claim Netflix, but you can't really do that because it's on their own website. But
that's how convenient for Netflix that you can't copyright strike them on their own website.
Yeah, but they should. I don't know if you can do a class action lawsuit if they try to, because claiming copyright that means they have bought the product. They never even obtained the right to use it. None of these
That's crazy.
commentators has been contacted and asked to provide their videos for this.
I was wondering
Netflix
about
show.
that if they had been contacted and paid something for grabbing their stream, because there's a lot of it. There's especially in the first episode. I kind of watched along a little bit for the first episode, and there was a lot of it. So I'd be very. That was one of my questions. Did DUI guy? Did Ricada, Emily D. Baker, everyone? Did they get compensated for it? Were they contacted? Did they sign off on it?
Josie says DUI guy got something, but I know Tuck didn't, and Tuck is a really big part of the documentary. That umbrella guy, he didn't consent to anything.
Yeah, well, no one knows who he is, right? So how are they going to get in touch with him?
Well, they doxed him. They doxed him a lot of times, and they swatted him. And even if that umbrella man was what Elaine said, it's kind of like lawyers can't do last names. I don't know why I got that. So isn't it that illegal? It's not fair use.
Well, it's not necessarily illegal. Actually, I would consider it fair use. But I would also consider them streaming Netflix to be also fair use because they're commenting on Netflix's coverage of it, right?
Yeah.
So the reason why I would consider the use of the YouTubers' comments in the Netflix would be part of the story is the social media sensation that was following the trial, right? And so it's commentary on that. So I feel like that would actually be fair use. But then for the YouTubers to turn around and use Netflix as well to comment on the commenting on the commenting, I believe is also fair use. So
If it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander.
yeah.
Right?
So I think that, hey, Kaiser, hopefully it's nothing bad. You're in the hospital, man,
Oh.
but welcome. Hopefully it's
Yeah.
someone else and it's just minor and it's, cosmetic or something.
Yeah,
Um,
or you're just going there for the coffee.
That's why I go to the
And the
hospital.
food, yeah.
I spent the last 4 days eating hospital food, and it's not the worst. It's
A
too
lot of
bad.
them are like actually have nice places now.
Yeah, I mean the cafeteria is actually like it's somewhat decent, right? It's still cafeteria food, but you can get fresh stuff, so that's what I like. Netflix is a woke company. No support for woke companies. Yeah, well, I don't know. Aren't all companies woke companies these days because it sells? It's got to stop selling. Like people got to stop watching the Barbie movie, right?
And I just have to say, Bobby Bologna, LNC is restreaming a court feed.
They have no claim to the court feed itself because it's a media pool feed usually, and they have no access to it usually. Because I've been doing it I was set up for the Lucas Gerhard trial, and I'm currently getting set up for the Crumbly trial. You have to provide it accessible to others, and for a fee or whatever. But because it's a pooled feed for the media, they don't have any copyright claim to it. Only really and technically their logo, and that's why it's kind of cropped out on most YouTubers' streams. But anyways, yeah. So I just thought that was interesting. So we're gonna do we're gonna cover the Netflix series. We're gonna start watching that in my Discord tonight, probably around 8 p.m. Eastern.
So I
'Cause we
won't
have
be joining.
And well, you can join all you want. You just gotta, prepare your nap ahead of time.
Yeah, but I'm going to stream and then I'm going to sleep because finally I got a schedule a time with my masseuse tomorrow, so my back hopefully can stop hurting. So I better
Take
get
care
some
of your
sleep.
back and your friend, right?
I can't use my front if my back isn't working, ladies.
On that note, that will continue the trial.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go to the toilet. Be right back.
All right. Sounds good.
Hang on a second. Sure, take your time.
Your family isn't woke. There's only 2 genders of animals here. Yeah. Oh, your farm isn't woke. Yeah. How many genders of animals are there? If there's like 150 genders of people, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay,
Startup reimbursement. You said that you had asked Mr. Petterfee for a breakdown on that.
That's correct.
When did you ask him for that breakdown?
This was quite a while ago. I know we asked him a couple of different times. It was right around the time when he asked for the money to be paid.
Okay, so you were still an employee?
Yes,
Okay. And was part of your responsibility keeping track of the books?
yes.
Okay. And so were you able to record in the books what the distribution was for?
No, at that time he did have an accountant work.
Oh, Kaiser. Yeah. I mean, routine stuff is never routine when it's your only child, or I mean, when it is your child, right? Not necessarily your only child. Well, hopefully all goes well, and you can just kick back and relax, and they'll get out really quick. So, all the best. Hopefully, it works out good.
Working for him. We did work very closely with that, and I ran the business, so I wanted to know everything kind of that was going on. So we spoke very closely, but no, I did not see any record of it. I'm not sure how it was categorized. I think it was QuickBooks that they used. I'm not sure how it was categorized.
Okay. But you know it to be startup reimbursement?
That's what we were told,
By who?
Darren.
Okay, so, all right. Was it your assumption that that also included
anything that Darren had to contribute to the company?
Yes.
All right. Do you know who registered epictitlemi.com?
I'm not sure, I guess. I don't
Okay.
know.
If you don't know,
I'm not
you don't
sure.
know. That's fine.
I'm not sure. I would assume it was Darren, but I'm not sure.
Okay. Do you handle the books? Do the books contain a list of assets of the company? Let me clarify that. Prior to you acquiring the company, is there any list of assets that you are aware of that the company owns?
I'm aware, I did not handle the books, the operational books at that time, but I'm aware of them because I worked with the accountant quite closely. Quite honestly, I'm not sure what it looked like as far as assets go.
Okay. Do you currently, does Epic Title Services LLC currently list any of its assets in its books?
Yes.
Okay. Is the website one of those assets? Or the domain name, I should say. Nice
Guess it's not broken down like that. You mean for as far as like my bookkeeping?
Yeah.
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 I don't have anything listed like that. I guess depreciation would be something that I have in there as far as assets go.
Okay, so you're just depreciable assets is what you're listing.
Yeah.
But nothing. The point is with these questions is that they don't list assets, right? Nobody's ever listed assets. You don't have to list assets of a company. You just have to own them.
Mhm.
But you don't have to have a list. And that's the other thing people get confused about. Like you don't have to list the owners of a company. It doesn't have to be written down. As long as the owners know that they're owners, that's fine. The only time you have to start writing stuff down and naming stuff usually is when you're part of you're trading publicly and things like that. So, or, you have a finance guy or you want other private investors and they're going to say, all right, give us a list of your assets and give us a list of all your owners. But otherwise, you usually don't write stuff down.
That's correct. We don't have I mean, we do as far as equipment goes, but
Sure.
that's nothing that can lose its value.
A domain name's not
over
tangible?
time. Exactly.
Okay. Nothing further. With the reservation that we agreed. Oh, Baker, he went to the toilet. We do need a designated drinker, so we'll address that when he comes back. But thank you for the $4.99 super chat. I'm going to keep it. When he comes back, we'll address it. Approach. I think it's Exhibit F.
Okay.
I just want to make sure the witness doesn't have it.
It is exhibit F.
I don't know why the video is skipping
And I'm
that.
gonna ask, all right, thank you, sir. All right, I'm going to ask Ms. Leonardo a quick question here. Other than the domain name, is there any other property that Mr. Petterfee said that he acquired on his own that he was claiming personal ownership?
This is really weird. I don't know why it's skipping like that. I'm gonna try to reset it. In the meantime, let's see. Okay, we are at 2:39. All right, so I'm just gonna stop this real quick and then try to represent it. In the meantime, we need to know if Baker is going to be the designated drinker or not.
Well, get me 500 subscribers more, then we can talk about when I'm gonna be designated a drinker.
There we go. Yeah, that's a good incentive. 500 more subscribers. Yeah, so Lefty made 100 yesterday, and Baker made 500 yesterday. So they're both on their way. We have 500 more to go for Baker, and I think Lefty is under the.
He's under the American. Is
400.
it 400,
He needs
3,000?
Yeah. What did I say the number was? I don't remember. 227, right? God. Shazbach.
Yeah.
What did I say the number was?
But Valhalla, I think he already did it when
I thought 27 something.
when he got me in trouble the first time.
Okay, we'll start here.
So, Let me ask you this, when you purchased the company, when you purchased the equity in the company, the owner,
To preserve our reputation.
There we go.
so what was the purchase price?
$50,000.
Okay, do you know how that 50,000?
Nope.
Or
Oh, we gotta get to the judge's question. Damn it. I don't like doing it this way. I should
Also,
upload this on the YouTube and then
Prior
represent
to
it.
the closing, did Epic Title pay $50,000 to Darren Petterfee's other company?
Yeah, I would
Prior to
object
the
non-responsive.
Prior to the closing on
Baker, the question is are you going to be our designated drinker for today?
Well, I will be if you get me 500 more subscribers for today.
All right, you know what? I'm going to go get a beer.
the transaction?
the sale?
Yeah.
I don't even have a beer in my house.
So prior to
It's
that,
noon.
was there $50,000 paid to Darren's other company?
Yes, there was.
Okay. So that's in addition to the 50,000 that's
I'll be right back.
contemplated in Exhibit B?
That is correct.
Okay. Do you know why that 50,000 was paid to Pecan?
We were told that we had to
I'm
pay the
gonna place
50,000.
I'm gonna place objection as to hearsay unless it was Mr. Petterfee himself who told them.
Let's find out. Are you, this information that you're about to disclose to us, did it come directly from Mr. Petterfee?
Yes.
I mean, if it came from him, that's the question.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, we sure about that?
Yes.
Okay. All set, Mr. Abbott? Okay, all
Well,
right.
as soon as we hear it.
Okay, okay. Go ahead.
So additional $50,000, or I want to say
All right,
additional.
I won't be
First
running today.
$50,000 was paid to Pecan
Thanks to
Ventures. Mr. Petterfee told you why, what did he say?
He said to pay back startup cost for Epic Title
Okay.
Services.
So $50,000 was paid to Pecan Ventures for startup cost reimbursement?
Correct. That's what we were told it was for.
Hey,
Now,
greedy bloke.
that was paid by Epic Title Services,
And
essentially
RJ.
paying back its member that contributed funds, right?
That's correct.
That's how you understood it to be?
That's correct.
Okay. And that was paid prior to the closing of this
That's
transaction?
correct.
All right.
That's right.
Were you ever given a breakdown as to what startup costs he was referring to?
No, we had asked, but we were never provided with a breakdown.
I think I backed up way too much.
And
Am I right? We all heard this
The-
before, right?
$50,000 startup. that you are
Maybe it was
aware of.
130.
Yes,
There
sir.
we go.
I don't know what order you want to take it. I do have a follow-up.
Okay, sorry guys.
The domain name's not
Over
tangible.
I don't know why the
Exactly.
Okay.
I don't know why the video was being weird. Look, it's still being weird. Oh, Brandon, $4.99 super
With
chat.
the reservation that we
Get a high noon then.
approach, I think it's
Don't have a
Exhibit
high
F.
noon. I have my beer, a single
I
beer.
just want to make sure the witness doesn't have it.
It is Exhibit F.
Okay, yep, and I'm gonna ask, all right, thank you, sir. All right, I'm gonna ask, Ms. Leonardo, a quick question here. Other than the domain name, is there
Yeah, this is
any
where I
other
left off.
property that Mr. Petterfee said that he acquired on his own that, he was claiming personal ownership of that did or did not, go with the business? Is that,
Yeah, no, that was the only, I would say that was the only
okay,
thing that he said claimed ownership to.
okay, all right. Yes, sir.
I don't know what order you want to take it. I do have a follow-up based off of your question, but I know he hasn't crossed yet.
Okay, okay.
So I don't know what you want to allow.
Why don't we just handle it now?
Yeah, it was kind of unusual that the judge would ask questions before cross, but he did.
That way, then,
You had said that, based off the judge's question, judge asked you whether or not there were any other assets that he claimed ownership of, or that he contributed. Did he ever provide you a list of anything, like this is what I contributed, or this is what?
No,
Okay. And the first time Mr. Petterfee ever said that he owned the domain name was in October of 2021?
October of 2021, yes.
Not at any time before that?
No.
Okay.
thank you, sir. Okay, Mr. Everett, whenever you're ready.
I don't usually record them to watch them because I hate the sound of my voice. The only reason I'm playing this is simply because I thought it would be good for everyone to watch a smaller trial that like 90% of cases are. They're not these big sensational ones. But no, I typically don't. I think back in my mind as to what I did wrong, but I don't usually watch them.
You want to do it now?
Yeah. We'll do some cross here, and then we'll at least finish with Ms. Leonardo.
Okay, thank you.
Ma'am, you never asked Mr. Petterfee or anyone else who owned the domain name prior to October of 2021, correct?
I don't believe I did.
And Ms. Lusby, to your knowledge, didn't ask anybody who owned the domain name prior to October of 2021, correct?
I don't believe she did either.
Okay. Back when you first started with Epic Title, there was a joint venture with Dream Title at that time. Is that true?
I want to say there was an agreement some sort. A joint venture was going on, but there was no. It's not how we run our joint venture, so I don't even want to call it a joint venture. But there was a business relationship going on with him and Dream.
And just in case people don't know what a joint venture is, a joint venture is essentially a partnership between two companies with a common goal. So the companies can operate completely independent from each other, except with a particular thing that they're doing. And what this joint venture was that he's questioning, I don't know. But the other joint venture that they formed as part of the deal to sell the company was that the defendant was going to continue to operate his other company, which is essentially real estate brokerage and things like that. And they would use Epic Title Ventures as a joint venture to process the real estate transactions. So anytime this guy sold something, he had the option to go through this joint venture to handle the actual transaction of the transfer of real estate, and all the fees and stuff would then be split. But anything that his other company did separate, and anything that Epic Title Services LLC did separate, was completely separate. It was just this one narrow little focus.
Dream Title, yes.
Okay.
Epic and Dream Title.
Okay. And when you were testifying that you had access to the GoDaddy website and your IT guy got in there, that was after May 7th of 2021, correct? That's when the sale was. I'm sorry. That's when you bought it.
Yes.
Okay. So that wasn't before. That wasn't when you were working there. That was after, correct? After you owned it.
He gave us access to. He gave me the information in 2020.
I don't think it made law and
And
crime.
you didn't change anything on the website. Title Tab did. Is that true?
Yeah, through our direction.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who is Christina Candleberry to you?
She's my sister-in-law.
And she was the seller of Epic Title, correct?
We were under.
Object to the characterization of the parties. It assumes facts that are not in evidence with regard to she's a joint owner.
Okay. I realize the ownership entity is in dispute here, so, Mr. Abbott, if you want to.
I believe that's now objection number 9 that I won, right? I think that's right. We're at 9 now. I think I lost count, but I think it's at like 9 or 10.
Reword it such that to keep that dispute in play.
Judge and I are
All right.
smiling at each other. We have an understanding.
We'll do what we can. You've looked at Exhibit B, your Exhibit B, which is the membership interest purchase agreement and release. Is that correct? And I can either show her that, or if the court wants to show.
I have. Yeah, I looked at it earlier this
Okay.
afternoon.
Who's listed as seller on that document?
I believe it's Christie, but there are multiple names on the document.
Okay. Is there any, if I may approach,
Certainly.
is there any other person listed as seller on that document other than Christie Campbell?
No, there's not as seller.
Okay. You're
Jimmy,
the
you wanna
registered
answer?
agent of Epic Title Services.
You want to answer Indigo's question? It does. It sounds like it should be a sugar baby website, right?
I feel
GoDaddy.
like that's what they were trying to do, is make it, because I remember when I first heard of it, I was like, that's kind of weird. But yeah, it does.
So one of these lawyers
Sugar
is better
baby.
than the other.
I love that term.
Sugar baby, daddy domain. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's daddy domain. I'm gonna type in daddy domain in my Google search and see what comes up.
LLC now, is that
That's
correct?
correct.
Okay. When did you begin in that position?
May of 2021.
Okay. And if you're not sure, tell me you're guessing, because
Yeah,
I want.
I'm not guessing. I'm just, the 2022 and 2021 is confusing me.
That's fine.
May, I believe it was May 7th.
It'd be, and I get that because you bought it in May of 2021, but it was nunc-pro-tunc January of
Exactly.
2020, correct?
That's
Ooh,
my
fancy
Latin for
num
the
punk
day.
tonk. Do you know what that means? Does anyone speak Latin?
No.
I don't either, but I don't know what it means verbatim. But essentially, we backdated it to January 1st.
I feel like that's true, Valhalla.
What's that?
Dave acting like it's the first time he searched daddy domain.
You don't want to. I saw someone in Discord posted a medical alert bracelet that said "clear my search history" or something like that. Delete my
Yeah.
search history. I want that. That's what I want.
You need it.
Especially doing this kind of stuff. You know, going through some of these cases that we go through and the things that we search. It's just ridiculous. You know, if any of my family members or someone that I might have a grudge against goes missing or is turned up dead, they have all the evidence to convict me just in my searches.
Mm-hmm.
They do. That's why I have this YouTube channel. It's an excuse for my searches.
You filed the annual statement in 2021, is that correct? For the company?
Heather actually filed she does the filing of this.
Okay. Did you file an assumed name under which the business is to be transacted, exclusive title agency?
Heather actually handled that part of it, but we did file for that name. I believe Rich Sabo went in without my knowledge though and changed it to be a DBA of Epic Title, so I'm not sure where it stands right now.
What did you think it was?
It's just a separate LLC entity, not a DBA.
Okay. But and so if on the state website it has that name under an assumed name of Epic Title Services LLC, you think that it was supposed to be a separate entity, but it didn't turn out to be?
When we first started, I know when Heather first filed for the entity's name, it was supposed to be a completely separate entity of Epic Title. So that was when we realized that Darren said, no, you were not going to buy my company.
I don't understand why
We
he
decided,
kept going
okay,
into
we're
the joint venture stuff. It never made any sense to me, but he's diving deep into this joint venture stuff. I don't know. Essentially what they had is they said, we're going to buy the business for $50,000 and we're going to enter into a joint venture whereby you can process your title work through the joint venture and essentially get some of the fee, actually 80% of the fees, but you had to do so many a month, 20 a month for 6 months or something like that. That's the joint venture. I don't know why it's relevant. Other than actually kind of maybe hurts his case because it shows that the defendant is actually part of an owner, right? He has some interest in this company that's being sold. Otherwise, why is this a condition?
started exclusive title. So we bought the LLC, got it registered from there. And then after the fact, when Jim Carrey was up here, he was talking about the negotiations between him and Rich Sabo.
Jim Carrey. I didn't see him.
I heard that too.
I intentionally named him. So the first witness, the law school professor, the expert, the one who drafted it, his name is James Carey. Well, he always goes by Jim Carey. So that was our first witness. So if
Jim
you want to see Jim
Carrey-
Carey on the stand,
Jim Carrey, Mr. Pedophile, and Miss
Lesbo.
Lesbo. Yeah.
yeah, those are the parties so far.
Fun little party.
Who's
I intentionally named him James Carey in everything that I put up.
who's your next witness? Mike Hunt or Amanda Hockenkiss.
You know, it's funny. So Jim Carrey was actually my professor in law school. He was my business professor. And then we ran into each other at a church function, and his kids and my kids are the same and hung out. And then he lives in my city. And so we've done work together ever since I graduated law school. But he's a nice guy. Yeah, but it's kind of weird to call him Jim Carrey. I still call him James because anytime I think of Jim Carrey, I just think of freaking, what is it? Pet Detective. That's what pops into my head every time.
Email probably.
There's
he said,
Jenny
I
B.
just made
There's a Mike Hunt in someone's chat. I don't think he's in my chat regularly, but he's in yours, Baker, right? Or he's in someone's chat. I saw him.
Yeah, I've seen him around. No, I think it's the experts.
Maybe the experts chat. Okay, so he's in the experts chat. Yeah.
a DBA, I believe.
Alrighty then.
And it didn't affect us.
I watched
because we were gonna use that name, so we
The
really
second
didn't do
Pet Detective. The first time I was in the U.S. when I flew back, I believe, and that's before it was in the movie theaters in Denmark.
Look at you.
That
The
wasn't as
second
good as the
Pet
first one.
Detective. The first one's much better.
First one's great.
Yeah, the first one's good. Oh, he's in the experts. Okay, he's in the
Anything with
experts chat.
Okay.
We need to get him over here. We need to invite him over here.
There's never been an assumed name filed for epictitlemi.com, has there?
An assumed name?
Yeah. That Epic Title Services LLC operates under?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. When did you move from the Gateway Center to Waterford?
June of 2022.
Okay.
Yes.
Was that before or after the time where you testified the website was offline?
That was before. That was
Okay.
before, yeah.
And you
maybe I'll
moved
have to
a different
watch it
county,
again.
correct?
It's got a good
Have
part.
different set of clients?
I don't remember the second one very much. I
It's when
remember
he's
the
with-
first one,
When he's
Einhorn.
with that tribe, like,
Yeah, but
See, I
it's,
don't
it's
even remember that it was with a tribe.
yeah.
So,
but
I'll have
it's
to
more
watch it.
it's kind of like he does in most of his movies. He's just going. It's not an entirely funny movie. It's just a movie with some intentionally overly exaggerated funny stuff. So I don't think it pops as much as the first Pet Detective because that's funny all the way through.
You know,
Mo
I should have
will
sent it.
Mo will
should've-
probably be on with me a bit later.
Yeah, she'll be on. I didn't send her an invite. I don't know why. I like to keep it smaller panels, and Jamie and Baker said that they'd come on. But I could get Mo up here maybe for my later stream because it's been a while since I've streamed with Mo. I need to get her on. It's been a while since I've streamed, period. So I'm happy to be doing this.
You streamed yesterday.
Correct?
It's the age,
No,
guys.
but I-
Dementia sets in there.
Oh, he's been hanging out with other people. He hasn't.
I know. I've been bouncing around on other people's streams and I haven't done my own stuff. So, and no trials are going right now that's not being covered by someone else that I usually stream with. So,
Mm.
so I'm just
Yeah,
gonna-
that's the child thing. No one
I
really touches
know.
that because
don't-
that's
It's
I
a
have done
trial,
so many
and it's
child
supposed to be
murder
like
cases.
5 weeks, so David would have never liked that one.
No, I saw that one. I was like, nope, skipping that one.
No.
Same
Our
clients?
stay the same. They just we broaden our horizons. That's why we moved out there to be
Okay.
closer.
And if something looked like you changed your address with the state about June 16th of 2022, does that sound
That
correct?
sounds about right.
Okay. How much do you think the domain name Epic Title MI is worth?
I have no idea.
well, the domain name
Did
has
you
no
agree
value
with
without the
Ms.
business.
Right? Yeah, they're one and the same. And like I used the Amazon example. Like if you bought Amazon, but it didn't come with the website, what's the good of it? Or if you bought the website, what good is it without the warehouses and the rest of the company? They're one and the same. You need them both. That's the value, right? So
Yes, so if you're a startup who needs that title, yeah, then it has some value. But you can just register at some other place and call it dot something else. It would be
Yeah,
a startup
absolutely.
process.
yeah, she could have formed a whole new company, and that's what they were thinking about doing until they got the final negotiations resolved. And so why would you buy the company without the domain name or vice versa, right? Because then at that point, you
Exactly.
just start a new company.
Yeah. Stupid
You,
question.
you were copied on an email with Ms. Lusby to Rich Zabo, Christy Candleberry, Darren Petterfee, and you were CC'd April 20th, 2021. Do you recall that email?
There's a lot of emails going around, I'm not sure what you're referring to.
You have an extra copy?
I don't know. Do I do something?
Yeah.
I think you had it as one of your exhibits. Looks like it says exhibit 9 at the top of it.
No, that's part of your defendant's discovery package.
But he sent it to you.
I don't have a copy of it now, an extra copy. I don't know if the court can make.
The other thing is this guy didn't produce exhibits ahead of time to me that he was going to introduce, which was really
I'm
frustrating.
just looking at I didn't get a copy of the exhibits, and I wanted to make sure I had this available.
Yeah, we may be able to accommodate you.
Oh, see, this is lack of preparation. I'm over prepared and he's under prepared. That's essentially what this is.
I feel like I would have remembered this document. That's why I'm just questioning it.
It is like a phone number to the business
I do have it here. Okay.
to some extent. Like everyone knows the number, right? Everyone knows the emails. Everyone knows the website.
I have.
No,
Okay.
we're good. I got it.
Okay.
That is MLS live in action.
Using numbers.
Mexican law show.
So, I'll show you what
The
I'm going to
Mexican-
How did that get started?
Find this proposed exhibit 1.
You know.
Read through.
Hi, Kiki. He's like, why don't you?
I bring it somewhere. No.
There's some more up there.
What's that cat's name?
These stickers.
DOG.
DOG?
DOG. DOG.
Oh, D.
We named the cat Dog.
Gotcha.
DOG. Yeah. He's lucky it's a bench trial and not standing there wasting the jury's time. I at least asked questions while I was looking for documents, right? Remember?
But why haven't we
I recall
produced them
this.
to you?
You do recall?
I do.
Okay.
I don't
move
know.
for-
He's like, well, this was produced in an earlier evidentiary. So before trial, obviously, we exchanged discovery, right? I asked the defendant for a bunch of documents and he sends them over. He's like, well, this was part of the discovery that we sent over to you a year and a half ago. It's like, well, okay, but still, I don't know you're introducing it. I don't have it with me. So I don't know why he did it. He was really trying to actually settle this case. He was sending me emails before trial, the day before.
I'm moving to object. This is an email sent from Heather, not the witness. It's from Heather Lesby to various people. Amy, the witness, is CC'd in it, but she is not the drafter of it.
Well,
Okay.
I can call Heather Lusby then. I'll ask her questions about this and I'll.
Well, if I
Well,
could
yeah,
have-
call the right witness, sir.
Oh, before you do all that, hang on a second.
Before you do it.
Oh, look who's compromising.
Well, because I might want it in anyways. Honestly, I don't remember how like this whole thing. I don't remember all the details.
Just like yesterday, where when
Okay, no objections.
the state fought for half an hour to keep something out, and of course they would be allowed to put it in.
Mhm.
Brandon, thank you for the $4.99 super chat. You know who could be a designated drinker? The YouTube mechanic. Valhalla, you want to take a drink for me? Because I am just about out of my one and only beer. I
His
have like
one
an inch
and
left.
only beer.
One and only beer.
Oh my
And
God.
so, for the people that didn't hear me earlier, I am contemplating running the Detroit Free Press Marathon again. And so, I've got my new gear, I've ordered my new shoes, and I'm not going to be. That's why I have no alcohol here, because I was going to start training for that. But I'm not running today since Brandon's got me drinking something. I must want this email in for some reason. I don't know why. So I'm just going to agree to let it in, even though it's the wrong witness. I don't know. We'll find out.
And Dave, while we're on a break, I'm going to jump off and make some dinner and then get ready for my own stream later. Thank you so much for having me on. And Jamie, hopefully I see you later.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and just thank you, Breaker. Thanks for joining me. Take care. I'm gonna dump everyone over to your stream when we're
Please
done
don't
here.
jump everyone in my stream. See you all later.
See you
Bye.
guys.
Bye.
Yeah, Baker is covering the widower case, the guy with 6 wives and 4 of them are dead. He's covering that trial that's ongoing. It starts, I believe, at 1:30 Eastern, so that's about an hour from now. So I figured I'd end the stream a little bit before he starts and then redirect all of you over there. So it's been an interesting trial so far. They're showing. Did they show another dead body?
Yeah, they kept showing the guy that got killed.
Yeah. See, they're broadcasting everything. At least it's not a child this time. That was bad.
Whatever. They did a close up of his face because he was shot
Oh,
in
but
the
it's
head.
not a child. It's okay.
I know, but it was just like it was shocking because I didn't think they would. But
Brandon coming in big with the $49.99 super chat. You can probably track Dave's pace online for those who's interested. Drink Valhalla. Yes, drink Valhalla, so I don't have to.
he's
Um,
in here saying I didn't agree to that.
It doesn't matter, man. You're taking one for the team. It's you're wingmanning me here. Sometimes someone's got to go home with the fat chick.
It is a tacit agreement. So
Right. It's a tacit agreement, Valhalla. You're in there. Thank you very much. I will, you know what? If anyone's interested, I do Strava and it has a social media component. Like I can share my runs. If you guys are really interested, I can do it. I won't
have
claim
that
to be the
through my work.
fastest.
That's funny.
What's that?
They have that through my work. So that's funny that you use it.
Well, a lot of runners use Strava. I think Strava's actually partnered with the Detroit Free Press Marathon. So,
That's cool.
but yeah, so if you want to track me, I suppose you can. I need more hardware. I only run for the hardware people too. Just so you know, I don't run for fun. I only run for the hardware or to train for the hardware.
You're like,
So yeah, if you're a new member too, I put a picture of my Free Press Marathon hardware that I've already earned. And there's a 1 mile run and a 5K on Saturday, and then there's the marathon and half marathon, and then a relay marathon on Sunday. So we're going to probably do a combination of those. Like last year, I did the 1 mile, the 5K, and then the half marathon on Sunday. So we're probably going to do a combination of those. But if you want to see my slow ass pace, I could start posting that stuff. Not a fast runner. I get the distance.
Sir. And so you're okay with the admission?
The admission of it, yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna put the sticker on the top, Your Honor, so it doesn't block it.
So the court hereby admits into the record defendant's proposed Exhibit 1 as defendant's Exhibit 1.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I want to,
You have a copy of it?
no, I have a copy of it, although I'm going to object as to its relevancy. As I'm looking through it further, these are not the terms that they ultimately settled on, so this would be negotiations back and forth. The issue in this case is breach of contract, specific performance, and as it relates specifically to the ownership of the domain name. I'm not sure how this document is actually relevant to that underlying issue.
So apparently I object again.
Okay, let's get a response here.
Well, it's relevant because I should have some leeway to ask her some questions about it, and then we can look at admission or not, because all this goes to the sale of the business. Brother counsel just asked questions about another $50,000 payment that was prior to all this. There was a repayment that had absolutely nothing to do with this transaction.
Did you hear Brother Counsel? He doesn't know my name either. I don't know his name. He's Brother Counsel, right? That's what we refer to. Yeah, I have no idea what his name
You
is.
have no
This
idea who he
document
is.
actually has-
No idea.
What's that?
You have no idea who he is.
No, not a clue. Not a clue. You could torture me and I would randomly spit out names. I have no idea who he is.
God, so
To
crazy.
do with the transaction, because they testified how they had a problem with Mr. Petterfee and they didn't get along with him. So then ultimately they moved to purchase the company from him, and that document is relevant to that. That's their first offer to purchase.
Okay, Mr. Hellman, he replied to that response.
No,
Okay.
no reply.
Okay. All right, well, I'll let you,
Yeah.
proceed.
I won't be sharing runs to and from my house. But there's parks around that I run at, and I can post those. Yeah, no, when I decide to just do a quick run from my driveway, yeah, that's not getting posted.
With this line of questioning, Mr. Abbott,
Thank you.
the court will be listening carefully to see, that you stay relevant here.
All right. Well, the first question was, did you agree with Ms. Lusby's email in writing there offering the two options to buy the business?
We consulted on it, that wasn't the final deal, but yes, we
Sure.
consulted on it.
That was, I understand that. And you guys consulted on it, and the document actually references a meeting which was to take place the next day between the parties, I guess.
It did, yes.
Okay. And the option to purchase was for a value of $105,000, it says, correct?
That's what the document says, yes.
Okay. You ended up paying how much for the business?
We paid $50,000 and the agreement to do the joint venture for them to be able to make quite a bit more money than that.
All right, that has an estimated tax liability of $15,000 for each year on that email, is that correct?
It did, yeah.
Do you know what the tax liability was for 2020 and 2021?
I would have to look. I hire a CPA to do my books, so I would have to look to see what it actually amounted to be.
Okay, does that same CPA work for you now?
He does my taxes, yes.
Who's that?
France Koviak, we have a few different accountants actually that work for us. France Koviak is the one that did ERTC funds for those years. And then we have another company that we no longer work with that did those. And then just the beginning of this year, we have a new accountant. So there's, I guess, 2 accountants that would have worked with those numbers.
Okay. How long?
Valhalla, I sent you a link if you're so inclined on Discord.
It's like, why did I get roped
Believe-
into this?
let's see. Just over a year?
The whole company had only been in existence since January of 2020, correct?
Yes.
I'm gonna object, clarification, what company is council referring to? Because he was just talking about the joint venture.
I'm sorry, I apologize. Epic Title Services LLC.
Okay, all right, very good.
That's what I'm talking
So
about.
objection sustained, and we'll continue. Okay.
Yeah, I think I did it.
That's
Correct?
Yeah,
12,
that's-
number
yeah.
12.
Okay.
I want.
Now, you had an affidavit that you drafted and signed on October 11th of 2022 in this case, right? Do you recall that?
I don't. What was the date of that? I'm sorry.
It was in October of 2022.
Oh, okay.
It was attached to your motion for summary disposition.
Valhalla's not going to chug a beer.
Now that I'm looking at it, that email was attached to your motion for summary disposition.
You guys are the worst.
Knew I knew it somewhere.
I never noticed his teeth before until this video.
Let me
But they're
find it
very
for
white.
you.
They're very white.
Oh, maybe use some strips before court. White strips.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, I thought I heard this. I thought I had it.
You're all right.
If I may approach the witness, and this
Yes.
is listed as Exhibit 4 on your motion for summary disposition. Take a look at that, it's multiple pages.
He doesn't have copies for the judge. See, I come prepared. I have copies for opposing counsel, for the witness, for myself, for the judge.
Might take you a minute to find them, but you got them all.
That's right. Hey, Steve. Welcome. Good afternoon. It is afternoon now.
Yes. It's storming here. How's it over there? Because it's dark in the house.
It's starting to get a little stormy, but it was nice and breezy, so I have all the windows open. Oh, Jamie's back.
Sorry. Storming.
I've been watching it come through. We're going to get some storms here in a minute. I kind of wanted to get the stream out of the way before the storms hit, which should be about 30 minutes from now.
Yeah.
If this attorney would not take so much time, be a little better prepared. It's not afternoon in Idaho.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know, Brandon talked about so much beer, it actually sounded good. And I had one left, so I took care of it.
That's it. That's all Dave needs, guys. One beer.
Clicked in delay. Yeah, one beer is all I need. Actually, it's been a while since I had a beer, and doing good. Doing good.
Are you getting all getting all buzzed up?
I'm feeling it with my
Oh my God, stop it.
with my ultralight. It's essentially water with alcohol mixed in.
Yeah.
Good. It hits the spot.
I love that for you.
The skies here in Brighton are getting very dark. Yeah, it should be moving through and hitting you guys pretty quick in Brighton. Brighton, where Brighton Ford is, where they screwed up my transmission. Half a beer.
Was the
Hi,
first-
mother. My mother's
Aw.
in.
Oh, half a beer.
No, I drank the whole thing. My wife's not here to finish. 99% water, 1% beer. Yeah, just about. It's only 95 calories.
He doesn't need much, guys. If you witnessed it.
Oh my God. Council, move on. Everyone saying hi to my mother in the chat.
Of course.
She's surprised I finished my beer. Yes. Everyone knows I typically don't finish beers. I drink half of them and move on.
Like, you just don't want to, or like you get chatting and you forget it's there.
I
That
now he's actually asking questions. I don't like warm beer. I like super, super, super cold beer. And it gets too warm by the time I usually drink half because I don't drink them very fast.
Mhm.
But I ended up drinking this one a little faster because Brandon was in the chat.
affidavit doesn't state that Epic Title owned the domain name and Darren merely refused to transfer it to you, does it?
Not specifically.
I'm gonna object, on
Jonathan?
improper foundation and mischaracterizing the affidavit. As counsel stated, the affidavit was there for the purposes of an exhibit for a summary disposition motion. It's not there for the purposes of the issue at trial here. So I'll just object to the proper, using the affidavit to cross-examine this witness in that manner.
Okay,
Well,
Ms. Rabbit?
obviously it's was for trial because they tried to get the case dismissed in their favor using that affidavit as a factual basis, so it's directly relevant. And I can ask her about that affidavit because let me ask you this. Did you sign that affidavit?
I believe I did, yes.
Is everything in that affidavit true and correct today?
To my knowledge, yes.
Was it true and correct when you signed it?
Yes.
Does it state anywhere in there that Epic Title owned the domain name and Darren Petterfee just merely refused to give it to you?
Not in certain terms, no.
Okay.
Okay, I just want to make sure you get a chance to reply. Anything you want to say?
I can address it on redirect, I suppose, Judge.
Okay.
Okay, so it's 12-1 now. I lost that objection. But I still feel I won 12 objections and lost one. So we're still in the positive.
In Exhibit
Hey,
B,
morning,
the
MG Law.
purchase agreement.
Hey, MG.
Do you have that, Your Honor?
I do.
Oh, you have
I have it.
Okay. In that, does that state anywhere that Darren's selling you anything?
No.
The affidavit was not for that, sir.
And the domain name and the LLC, which you're a member, are not even the same, are they?
No.
I'm sorry, what was, I didn't catch the question.
The question was, the Epic, well, I'll put it this way, Epic Title Services LLC is not the same as the domain name we're talking about here today.
Okay.
Is that correct?
That's correct.
The domain name is epictitlemi.com, correct?
That's correct.
Did you try to purchase epictitleservices.com?
We had a website already established, so we did not try to do that.
Okay. And then on paragraph 14 in your affidavit, you state, despite the work we did for Epic Title, we did not get along with Darren, and we did not think he was a very good businessman. He would hide money and always appeared to be very shady. Is that what you said in there?
Yes.
Okay. And in Exhibit 1, the email that you have sitting there, do you still have that email?
I don't.
Does the court have that email?
Sure.
The email that was from Heather?
Yeah.
This one right here.
Yep. In Exhibit 1, it says "we." I take it that means you and Heather. Would that be,
Yes.
is that a correct assumption? It's you and Heather. We do believe that you are a great businessman, and we feel it's unfortunate that we can't align. Is that what it says?
It is what it says.
Which one's true and which one's false?
What is true is I did not believe Darren was a good businessman.
That you acquiesce to allow "we" in the email?
I believe to come to an amicable agreement. I believe that's why that was stated that way. And as well as my sister-in-law being his business partner.
Your sister-in-law was the owner of the business, right?
Not to my knowledge, I thought he ran it, but
Well, would you agree
will
with me
find
that,
out.
would you agree with me that running it and owning it can be two different things?
yes.
Okay. Do you have any managers?
I'm excited for you
at,
guys to watch the cross-examination of the defendant when he gets on the stand. We're not going to get to it today, though. Valhalla awaits. You won't chug a beer, you coward. Thank you for the $4.99 super chat. I wonder who this could be. I will leave this up to Mama Helm. Should Valhalla await enjoy the beer he promised, or do we show him mercy? So, Mother, do we allow Valhalla to skip out on his beer obligation, or are we going to show him mercy? You got to throw it in the comments. Let me know.
Epic Title Services?
I like how she
LLC
gets to
now?
decide.
Yes.
They're not owners,
You should.
right?
No.
Who are the owners?
Heather and myself.
Are there any other owners?
No.
Are there any other investors?
We do have outside investors, yes.
Okay. Did the outside investors pay the purchase price to purchase Epic Title Services LLC, the
I'm going to object as to
$50,000?
the relevancy of investors on this side of the transaction.
I think it's relevant. It's just it's a straightforward question.
Unless the defendant or one of the named parties that signed the document as sellers or releasers or whatever they are on the other side investing with these two, I don't think it's relevant.
Okay. All right. Are we ready to move on from that?
I don't care. That's fine.
Okay, see, so that's number 13 for myself. It's weird calling her out. So KT says it's weird calling her out for being polite. Yeah, essentially. So she thinks that this guy is a petulant child, not a good businessman, is hiding money. She doesn't want to work with him. But in an email to him, they say, oh, we just kind of want to go our separate ways, blah, blah, blah. She's being polite in an email. And he's trying to call her out on that by saying that the two statements conflict. They really don't when you think about the fact that she's simply just trying to be polite. And anyways, I thought it was a nonsensical argument. And I'm glad you guys spotted that. I didn't want to say anything. Heck no is not a response, Mother. Heck no to what? Is he obligated or is he not? That's what we want to know. Objection. The witness is non-responsive. You need to answer again.
Okay. All right.
Who registered the domain name epictitlemi.com on January 9, 2020? Do you
I'm
know?
not sure.
Okay. What is the current state of your website?
It's up and functioning.
What does it look like?
Very similar to what the exhibit that with I saw earlier.
Okay. I looked at it yesterday, and when I looked at it, it said our team, it has 3 Jane Does with figures and no other information for anyone. Is that accurate?
I honestly have not gone through the pages of it. I could see the front page to see if it's up and running, but I have not dug into it.
Okay. Would that surprise you if that's what your website looked like?
Depends on who's doing what to it at this point, I guess.
Okay, is the number still 810-498-4015?
Yes.
Is that one of them? Okay, and it has the same location on Walton Boulevard in Waterford, 4010?
Yes.
Okay. Would you agree that if that's the state of the website, and you have access to that website to
I
make
do.
changes, correct? So if that's the current state of the website, it's not drawing much business if it looks like that. Would you agree?
Honestly, that could be temporary.
Okay.
So I'm not sure, what they were doing there or what it looks like now or where they were going or.
Who's doing stuff on the website? Who takes care of changing it for you right now?
Our employees.
Any specific ones?
We have a few that,
How many do you employ currently?
we have 12 altogether,
Including you and
including
Ms. Leslie?
myself and Heather.
How many did you have when you first purchased the company in May of 2021?
That's a great question. I'm not sure. I want to say around 9, 10. 9 is my best guess.
Okay. And that was when you were at the Gateway Center?
That's correct.
Does Epic Title Services LLC have a LinkedIn account?
I believe my LinkedIn account is attached to it, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so then, does that also have a hotkey for a website that you can click and go to the website?
I believe so. I'm not on it that often, but I believe so.
Okay. And same for Facebook? Do you have a Facebook page?
We do,
And same thing with the link?
yes.
Okay. And all it takes, do you get a lot of traffic from Facebook?
We do.
Okay. So all it would take to direct them somewhere else is you have a different link, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Same for LinkedIn?
Yes.
Do you have Instagram as well?
Yes.
And the same
He's-
thing would apply for
Yes.
that? Okay.
He's trying to suggest that if she created a new website, a new domain name, all she had to do is update her Facebook and Instagram with a link to take her to the new website. He's failing to realize that their emails are all tied to that website. So their emails are Amy at epictitlemi.com, right? So all of their emails would have to change. Everyone's. And everyone knows those emails, right? All their mortgage companies that they work with and real estate agents and everyone know those emails. So it's not just a matter of changing a link. But
It's
that's what
not.
he's trying to argue.
And it's not simple either.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Are a lot of your business, are they word of mouth referrals rather than blind searches, if you know?
I can't say for sure. I know that I would say more is referrals because of our relationships and our reputation, but I think a lot of people do some click-throughs.
Yeah, it's also difficult to change stuff when you can't get the login credentials.
Exhibit D, the employment contract, okay? I don't know if you have a spare one for the Court document. Let me approach witness.
Indeed.
Ask you to take a look at that again.
Yeah, I don't think he does, KT. I don't think he understands the difference between a domain
And I
name
think
and a
this
website.
is Heather Lusby's, but we
That's correct.
agreed that
Yeah.
yours is the same.
Yes.
Okay. And what company were you employed by in that employment agreement?
Hold up. Valhalla.
I'm not sure how I got drug into this.
I don't
I'm not
know
sure
either.
either. Brandon made up the rules, and apparently you agreed to them. So
I didn't agree to anything. There was no agreement, tacit or otherwise.
tacit. It was a tacit agreement.
It was.
Tacket, according to Daryl Brooks.
Tacket or tacket. Yeah, that's how you say tacket.
Yeah.
Uh,
It like that. Say it right, Dave.
tacket. I know,
Mrs.
I
Helm, I want you to know, dear woman, that I did not agree to anything
know.
with your no mercy ruling.
You should keep your word, Valhalla. That's 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 all there is to it. There's
Horrible.
How you been?
Good. How have you been?
Good. Have you been watching my trial?
Some of it, yeah. Some of it.
Yeah.
I've been watching all morning.
Oh, okay. Cool. How am I doing so far? I want your input.
Mm.
Well, like I said earlier, one of these lawyers is clearly better than the other one.
I like the guy with the shiny white teeth. I think he's good.
He doesn't know his name either.
I
love
don't.
that.
He's brother counsel. Brandon coming in with the $4.99 super chat. Val is going to owe several beers as the designated drinker pretty soon. I would find a shirt ASAP. Oh, he's got a shirt on now.
I had to dig a shirt up.
I had to dig a shirt up.
What is that?
I love that.
Wait, hang on. Oh, my dog is barking. Hang on. Solo layout. What is this? You think your tractor's sexy? Nice.
It's a tattoo shop that I got a bunch of work done at.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's good.
Good.
So what do we do?
Yeah, your continued use of the chat constitutes your acceptance of Brandon's terms and conditions. I have to agree with him, Gila.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so what were you saying?
I don't even remember anymore.
Apparently, you owe some drinks because I don't know how much he super chatted, but I only had the one and I finished it.
Well, how much did he super chat?
50, 60,
5, 10,
65,
15.
I think. Let me look.
30, 35 plus $85.
85. I don't know how
so
much
far.
that is. 85. All right. So I think he's short a few bucks for another beer, but
So what are you doing? $50 beers is what you're going with at the
that's
moment?
typically what it is. That's typically his terms, right? It's $50 beers.
Oh, no. You're making a mistake there. You get to negotiate your own terms, sir.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, $50 beers. $50 beers. So he's 15 short of another beer for you.
For me,
Yeah, for you. Well, you got to be the designated drinker going forward.
I can't.
I'm out.
How long are you going for?
Not that much longer. I've got maybe another 20 minutes. So
You better
Okay.
drink up.
Okay.
I got another 20 minutes, and then I'm dumping you guys all on Baker. And then I got to get some work done, and then I'll be back again at 6 p.m. Eastern
I'm on the
for
wrong
another
account.
stream. So what I was trying to get through is that actually this witness is crossing this witness off the stand is what I'm trying to get through, but I don't know when that is. I can't really preview with the way I've got the video stream coming up. So, but I think it's going to be like another 15, 20 minutes. We're going to end with this witness.
Okay.
So, which I think she's been doing pretty good so far.
Yeah.
Not bad.
I have a
Prior
beer.
to working for Epic
All
I
right.
have a beer.
No, this employment agreement, August 7th of 2020.
Epic Title Services is,
Where does it say that?
well, I mean, I guess it says Pecan Ventures.
Okay, so you were actually employed by Pecan Ventures, then not Epic Title Services LLC,
The way
correct?
the contract reads, yes.
Okay. And
Rabbit.
you were
How dare
talking
you.
about ownership,
There you go.
that would be on page,
All right. Before this gets out of hand, Brandon, before this gets out of hand, I'm gonna. We got.
You're pitch hitting one beer.
Yes.
All right.
One beer.
One beer. All right. There we go.
There we go.
compensation on page 1 on number 3, right?
Yes.
Okay. And make sure I'm reading this correctly. It says, additionally, the employee shall be entitled to 3% of the profit share revenue compiled monthly, which are to be after cost, but before ownership distribution, after 1 year's, and I think that means year, of employment, the employee will be entitled to 3% stock ownership, which can be purchased for $30 per share. Did I read that correctly?
Now he's trying to
So
claim
at
it.
the
My
time you signed
client
this
has an
agreement in
ownership
August
interest.
of 2020, you weren't an owner of any company.
That's correct.
Okay. And before you got to the year mark where you could have purchased part of, it looks like Pecan Ventures, because Epic Title Services isn't on here, you guys had purchased Epic Title Services.
That's correct.
Correct. Okay. So you were never an owner of, under this agreement?
That's correct.
Okay.
Verbal and written were very different from each other.
What's Darren Petnerfe's main employment? What does he do for a
Employment?
living?
I believe a real estate agent.
Okay. Do you know, does he own a real estate company?
I don't know.
Okay. Do you,
Rabbit, did you go live the other day? You get your own streams up?
So I heard about it this morning, and if I'm not mistaken, I don't believe it was on her channel. I believe it was with Shizzy, if I'm understanding
Oh,
correctly.
okay.
Oh.
All right.
But she,
Very cool,
she may be planning another debut, if you will. There's
Nice.
talks in the works.
Oh, very cool. Looking forward to it. I'll go find, if it was on Shizzy, let me know. I'll go find it.
I think it was last night.
It was Shizzy. Okay. I was tired last night. I didn't listen to anybody. I tried to pop in some chats and then I went to bed.
you know, you testified to his
I
reputation.
tried to go into Jessica
That's what-
Reloaded because I wanted to hear about some Montessori stuff. But I asked a couple questions and I fell asleep.
Did you say Montessori?
Whatever it is, the Houston thing. What is it? Montessori?
Montessori.
Montessori.
Yeah. Anime Montessori.
Anime. It's all pretend. It's all cartoon, people.
That's true.
I'm asking you these questions. You know
That's
how big his real estate company is?
To my knowledge, not as big as it used to be when we were working with him.
How big did it used to be?
I know, right?
I would say, gosh, probably 20 agents, maybe 25 agents.
And what is it now?
I'm unsure 100%. I try not
That's a lot
to
of
get
real
in
estate
other
agents
people's
for a-
business.
Yeah, that's how big it was. So this
defense.
defendant had another company called Pecan Ventures, which apparently was a real estate company. And Pecan Ventures hired this woman and Heather to run Epic Title Services, essentially. And so it's like everything's commingled, and that's why they wanted to get away from this guy, because he's like, I don't think he technically owns anything in his own name, right? Everything's owned by something else, by someone else or something, and so
What's
that's why
the-
they're like, this guy's shady. We wanna go away from him.
What's his name?
Darren Petterfee.
Petterfee.
So yeah, nothing is like owned in his name. So that's why they're like, yeah, you kind of in like cash deals and you're going to be hired by Pecan, but you're actually going to work for Epic Title. And it's just all that kind of stuff, right?
No longer
So
partners.
I was trying to decide earlier
So I
if he was a
think it's-
sleazeball or if he was just kind of an idiot. Sounds like he's got some grimy business dealings
Yeah.
going on. Okay.
Yeah, kind of grimy stuff. And then she's stuck in the middle, as she said, because her sister-in-law, her brother's wife, essentially is also kind of business partners with this guy. So she's like, I don't want to make waves. I just kind of want to do my own thing, but I don't want to work for you.
I would assume it's smaller now, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
Just
I
the
don't make it
name
my
sounds
business.
sketchy, right?
You testified that you created, can you tell me the company you guys created? I can't.
Exclusive title agency.
Exclusive Title Agency. And when was that?
That's a great question.
Hi, Jamie. How are you?
Hey.
I'll be right back, guys.
It had
Fine.
to be, gosh, March, April-ish.
April
I'm
of,
not 100% sure. Early before we bought the company in 2021.
okay, so sometime before you bought the company in 2021. And so were you still under this employment contract, which is Exhibit D at that time?
Yes, before we bought the company, yes.
You were still working there and getting $50,000 annually plus the other stuff it says on there?
Yes.
Okay. Does that employment contract have a non-competition and confidentiality clause in it? paragraph 8?
Yes, it does.
Doesn't creating an exclusive title agency violate that?
That's a great question. I'm not sure because we weren't working for another company. We just created
I
the
like she
name,
says, that's a great.
registered the name, I guess.
What does registering the name consist of?
Paying a fee of, I believe I didn't do it myself, but I think $50 online to get the
Yeah,
name
Jamie.
To the
exclusive.
state?
Jamie,
Now
it's all
he's
you.
getting roped
Did
into
you
it.
take any other further steps after that?
Working.
Yes.
What other steps
You know you have a beer in the fridge. You can work. They won't know.
No, no,
They
no.
won't know.
I
did
will
you
not
take for
affect
exclusive
my.
title agency?
Apparently didn't matter that I had to work.
Spoke with our underwriters, told them that we were eventually gonna make the move. And we put a down payment on a software for that company as well.
Okay. So those underwriters were the underwriters for Epic Title Services LLC, correct?
Yes.
So you went to them and said, hey, we're breaking out of here, we're taking everybody with us, and we're starting a new company?
As general counsel, we went to them for advice, I guess more so. So yes, in essence, we did.
Who are they?
Well, we have a representative for each of the companies. So we work with Fidelity. It was Fidelity at the time. Fidelity National Title Group, I believe is what the full name is. And we have a representative that helped us out throughout the whole journey of starting a title company.
Now, while you were working there at Epic Title Services under this agreement that says Pecan Ventures, did you
I was nervous that was
control the
Mrs.
website or
Valhalla
did
for a
someone
second.
else at that time?
We were able to make, I would say that we did, because every time that a change wanted to be made, we were told, go ahead and do it.
And when you say
Yeah,
we,
pretty
you
much,
mean-
Brandon.
Heather and I,
Thank you.
yeah.
Now, just so I'm clear, you never had access to GoDaddy, but you had access to Title Tab, correct?
We did have access to GoDaddy. He gave us, Darren had given us the password and username in
When-
order to access it.
When was that? After this lawsuit started?
No, that was early, gosh, right after we first started. Early, I don't know, November, maybe.
Now, was there a time you didn't have access to the website?
Yes.
Okay. And did someone on your behalf take steps to gain access to the website?
Well,
Who's the woman sitting beside
we
you?
moved it over.
So the woman on the stand and the woman sitting next to me are both the co-owners of the company now. They
So
were
that's
both
Heather?
employed. Yeah, so that's Heather. Yeah, that's Heather sitting next to me. Yeah, and he's going to try to claim. So when they tried to gain access to the website and he refused to turn over the credentials, they tried to find a different way to log in. And so the defendant was claiming that they stole his identity in order to log in or something. I don't know, something like that. So that's the path they're going down now with these questioning. I don't know if we're going to get done with this, though, in time. So I forgot how long this went.
In order to protect our company and our asset.
What do you mean you moved it over? I don't know what you mean.
It was moved from Darren's name to Epic Title's name as we purchased it in the sale, the stock sale.
Darren didn't agree to that, though, did he?
I don't believe he had to agree to that.
Did he know about it?
I did send him an email and let him know that we need the verification code, and if he would kindly send me over the verification code, and that's basically the beginning of
Is
it.
that when he told you, hey, I own this personally, it was never part of the sale?
That is.
Okay, and your response to that was that you understand the domain name is not an asset of Epic Title. Is that what you stated in response?
That was my first response. My second response after that kind of followed that up.
So you're acknowledging in this email that, hey, we didn't get that domain name as part of the sale of the business, correct?
That was my attempt to be nice in trying to acquire that email or the domain name without a fight per se.
But that's what it says, correct?
That is what it says.
Didn't Darren offer to sell it to you for $10,000, not $1 million?
I heard $1 million
Who'd you hear $1 million
from Darren.
Okay. Did you hear any other numbers?
No.
Darren agreed to shave his head and grow a
Do
goatee.
you know who it was that hacked into the account to gain the access?
I would object to the form of the question. There's been no evidence establishing that any hacking is going on. It's a pejorative term.
Okay, let's,
Okay, I'll rephrase it.
okay.
I love your head, Bob.
At one point, you
My head, Bob?
There's no hacking going
Well,
on.
yeah, he said, did you authorize someone to hack his computer? And I'm like, there's been no evidence that anyone hacked anything. And it is a pejorative term, right?
Yeah.
This guy.
You know when like so here's my interpretation of what's happening in this courtroom right now.
Yeah.
These two attorneys came in thinking that this was just going to be a regular run of the mill, here are the facts of the case, do with it what you will, judge, and then got there and realized they were in an absolute dogfight.
Yeah, no, you're probably not wrong.
They were not prepared.
Well,
they
I
were
was
not
prepared.
You were.
I was over prepared. No, I was definitely over prepared. No, I thought it was going to go a lot smoother. And actually, if you watch day one, you know that my witnesses I had to call out of order. Due
I watched
to
some of it. I didn't catch all of it.
Yeah. So I didn't plan on calling this witness next, and so I was a little bit out of order. But I didn't
you
really
didn't have
think.
access to.
Sorry, I didn't think that he was going to be going into a lot of this stuff because it was summarily dismissed. The argument that she had or someone had hacked into his computer was summarily dismissed by the judge prior to the trial. So I wasn't really anticipating him going into that, although I probably should have, right?
Mhm.
Just know that if that was one of their big arguments pre-trial, that they were going to try to bring it up in trial.
If it got dismissed, though, why would they be able to do that?
Well, it didn't get like dismissed. Like he never filed a counterclaim, but that was his defense. And the judge said, no, that's not really a valid defense. So I thought they would just kind of take the judge's word with take the judge's opinion in summary and kind of leave that alone and go with a different defense is what I was thinking they were going to do.
In a bench trial, they absolutely should have.
Yeah. And again, if you go back to part one, we argue a lot for about a good 45 minutes about a lot of these things. Like what exactly is this trial going to be focusing on? Because they wanted to make it all about even like the stuff where he was show caused and found in contempt of court for shutting down the website. And also we had another account that's not in this trial for he continued to receive his health insurance paid by the company through after the sale through October until they discovered that and stopped that. So he actually received free health insurance for a while. And we filed a summary motion on that. And the judge granted us that. And they said, yeah, no, you don't have a defense. I'm going to grant as a matter of law that you owe them at least $10,000 to recoup the free health insurance you got. And so that didn't even go to trial. But they wanted to try to argue that as well. And you hear it during their opening statements. And so I object to that. So there's a lot of stuff that the judge has already ruled on that they're still trying to argue that I didn't think they were going to argue, I guess. So, yeah, you're probably right. Neither one of us really realized what this case was going to involve, this trial was going to involve.
Right.
And we're just kind of on the fly. But that's sometimes trial work, right? So we'll go for a few more minutes and we'll see where we are. Maybe another 5 minutes or so. I'm going to see if we can get through her, at least through the cross.
The
Giggity.
website, is that correct?
That was after it was shut down and it was not live.
Okay. So what steps did you take or someone on your behalf to gain access to the website? You started saying you had it switched over from Darren's name to title, correct?
We used the password and username that was given to us in the beginning from Darren.
Did that work?
It did.
So then what happened?
We were able to switch that admin account, or I'm not even sure if it was the admin account, the account from Darren's name over to Epic Title's name so we could gain the DNS number in order to make our new website go live.
What is a DNS number for the record?
To be honest with you, I'm not sure what it really means. It's a number that you need in order to make a website go live on the internet, I'm assuming. I'm not exactly sure what it is.
So was that accomplished? Did you get it live or what happened?
No, we did not, because Darren then, after I asked him for the verification code, he said that you do not own this website.
And that's when you responded, you understand it's not an asset, right?
I believe it was right around that time, but my follow-up email stated that it was an asset.
And then the first email that you said, I understand the domain name is not an asset of Epic Title, was sent Monday, October 18, 2021. Does that sound right?
Again, my times are very foggy. It could have, yes.
I can show it to you if you want. If I may approach with this,
Indeed.
By the way, I love Lefty's new avatar. I put it up in the top right corner. He needs to get that all over everything. Isn't that amazing? It looks just like him.
Do you
I
remember?
was tagged in something on Discord when this first appeared, and I didn't quite understand any
You
of
probably
it. but-
wouldn't have remembered. You were pretty hopped up that day.
Was it Friday night?
It
was
might
when
have
you
been.
It was when you came on Stabber Day.
Okay, so that was Friday night, Saturday morning. Same thing for me. Same thing for me.
You called him a
Seen it, yeah.
standard schnauzer.
Schnauzer.
Yeah.
Did I?
Yeah. Yeah. And then Baker followed up with something else about
He's
a
an
schnauzer.
attack terrier.
An attack terrier.
Outstanding.
That's what it was. Yeah. He called him an attack terrier.
That's why I got tagged in it. Now it's all making so much more sense. Don't drink for like 11 hours, y'all. Don't do it.
That was-
And then I found this image, and then C-Swept was able to put the headphones and hat on. It was just perfect.
I was so confused as to why I was being tagged in a picture of a schnauzer. I was so lost.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Yeah. So he needs to get that all over everything. I don't know why
That's
it's not
funny.
done yet. Yeah. It's perfect.
that's
I
funny.
believe the date on it as well.
And then there's another email after that, you said?
You started
Yeah,
it.
and it states that it actually is an asset of our company.
So first you said it's not, then you said it is.
It said it's not in order to try to
It makes so much more sense now.
make the situation light to be able to gain access.
Kind of like, hey, Darren, we know you're a great businessman, and then in court to testify in an affidavit, you say he's not a great businessman? Same way?
Oh,
Those are not my
I
words.
might have to go rewatch that stream.
Yeah, just go to the end when Lefty comes on and you guys have your banter. It's pretty funny.
Yeah. I'm
Oh,
sure
that
you
broke.
don't remember any of it.
I remember being there.
You remember? Oh, well, that's good. At least you remember that part.
Yeah.
You'd be a great witness in your own defense on the stand. I was there, but I can't recall the rest of it.
I remember warning Baker that I was very drunk before I got there. I remember telling you that I thought I was right in my previous stream, and you telling me that I was.
Yeah, and I remember you not looking at any of my comments in your previous stream.
I was on my phone. I can't have chat up on my phone. It doesn't work.
That's a shame.
Yeah. Wish
I
I
was
would
giving you
have.
all the information, all the ammunition you needed.
By that point, I was making the points I was trying to make, but I wasn't creating a conscious line of thought with them. So it wasn't all that helpful.
I don't think we're going to finish this witness. Let me see if I can find a good spot to end her. But essentially, what this guy's trying to do is she sent a polite email saying, okay, you own the domain name. How much do you want for it? And he's trying to say, you admitted that he owns the domain name. When in reality, we all know that she was just trying to resolve this dispute without a trial.
Email, so
Okay, those were your words in the affidavit.
affidavit, yes.
So then, after he tells you that, what happens to the website? After he says, hey, that's mine.
It was suspended, the website was suspended from being online, I believe for about 4 hours.
Did Darren let it get up and running again? Or what
He did
happened?
eventually, yes.
Okay. During that time period, you were still in the joint venture with Darren and Pecan, correct?
Yes,
Okay. So during that time, it would actually hurt Mr. Pettifee to not have that online. Would you agree?
I don't know if I would agree with that because his joint venture was a different entity. It was Epic Title Ventures, and I'm not sure if he had a website, but that wasn't his company that he had ownership in.
do you know if you went to Epic Title Ventures and looked that up, if Epic Title MI would come up on a search? You don't know? Okay.
Okay, I want to end it there. I don't know what else he's got going on. I was hoping that we could get through it, but we won't today. I will continue this. I will plan on, well, actually, tomorrow morning we have Ethan Crumbly, his Miller hearing continuation. So
Okay.
that's supposed to start at 8:30 a.m. And when that's done, then I might jump into this depending on what's going on. Valhalla, what do you think of my lawyering skills? I'm curious.
I am impressed. Like I kind of knew, just because like we talk a lot. I know you fairly well, right? I knew what you'd be like in court. Those guys didn't know what you'd be like, though. I may have misspoke earlier, but I meant to imply that they had found themselves in a dogfight, not that you also found yourself there. You knew you were going there.
I mean, I was prepared for trial, overly
Right.
prepared. You could tell by some of my shenanigans when I first called this witness to the stand and I couldn't find my documents. But yeah, I like trial work. And if someone had mentioned earlier that I was checking off questions, I have no prepared questions. I have no prepared statements. Like my opening statements and my closing arguments are not written in advance because I know this case so well. And I feel like that's my better style. I don't want to be reading something. I just want to know it and say it. So I wasn't actually checking anything off. I don't know what I was doing with the pen. I got to just set the pen down sometimes, I think. But no, it was a fun trial and I like trial work. So I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. There's 84 of us watching now. So that's good. Hopefully you guys enjoy it and I'll keep it going. But tomorrow we do have Ethan Crumley's Miller hearing continuation. So I'm going to be streaming that in the morning. And what did Salvador do?
It's safe to say everything.
Farrell's
Yeah,
still
yeah, everything.
Saturday.
Oh, Stabber Day?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Salvador and Valhalla got into it, right?
No, she was not informed that Lefty was getting on stream. So she's upset that she missed it.
Oh, well, that's on you, Farrell. You just got to. Why weren't you not watching it in the first place? That's the question. Because I was watching it.
Brandon, why is that screen name still a thing?
He chugged a beer.
He was supposed to
Shame
get
on you,
two,
sir.
though, because he tried to pawn one off on me, and I can't do one.
I have a nervous thing sometimes where I'll just doodle, and so I might have been just like making doodles while I'm questioning, and that's why I got to get the pen out of my hand. But I literally have no lists of anything. I didn't. Maybe I had lists of exhibits, but I wasn't using it. So I don't know what I was checking off. I was just probably making doodles. I could grab the file and find out.
Mm-hmm.
Great. So Nick finally caught up right as we're ending the stream. Well, welcome to live, Nick. Welcome. But yeah, so we'll continue this at the rate we're going. Let me see if I just add this real quick. So this is like 7 hours. We're like halfway through. So what is this? 3 streams? So it'll probably be 6 total, I think. So there'll be 3 more streams after this, most likely, to finish this up. And then maybe by the time I'm done streaming it, we'll actually get an opinion from the judge. That would be fun. And my mom enters an S for some reason. But hello, glad to know you're still with us. I don't know what the S means, but all right, cool. Jamie, anything to add? Where are you going to be? You're going to be at Baker's?
Yeah.
Okay. Valhalla, what do you got coming up?
I'm gonna go let my goats out.
All right, you go let your goats out.
Brandy can't change his name for 9 days, apparently.
What?
Outstanding.
He there is a way to make multiple accounts.
He's
So you
got
don't
a
have to
bunch
worry
of them.
about that.
He's got so many of them.
He's going to have to. I mean, Val, you're going to have to slam another beer.
Also,
Yes.
He's 10 short on that other beer, if I recall correctly.
All right. Well, you heard it here.
10 short. You're going to have to go give it to Baker and then Val will drink. Thank you, Mother. My mother says, everyone have a great day. You all have a great day. I'm going to end it here and you will be redirected over to Baker and I will see you guys in the chat while I'm running around doing other stuff. So thanks very much. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're not subscribed. If you're a new member, go click the member tab where you get a link to my Discord and share with your friends. Help the channel grow. Actually, I think I'm like 28 away from 3,000. So if we can get to 3,000 by the weekend, that would be amazing. I'm going to keep streaming until we get there. That's my plan. So if we can get to 3,000 subs, that would be awesome. So tell your friends, and we'll see you this evening in about 5 hours. All right, take care.
All my friends are here.